God save the United States of America, the state of Tennessee, and this honorable commission. Pastor Brad Blount from BCSO Chaplain will lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this awesome day that you've given us. As we're still in our 250th birthday month of the greatest nation in the world, remind us tonight of one of the founding principles of our country, that all of us are created equal. Whether we sit in an office or on a tractor, we drive a truck or work on an assembly line, whether we have worked all of our lives and now we're about to retire and enjoy some rest and relaxation, or we're just beginning, remind us that we are all people and we're not all that different. Tonight we ask for grace, for wisdom, for courage. We're grateful for our military and our first responders and their service that they give every day. Help us to be more like them and place others before ourselves. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Now conduct the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Welcome everyone to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for Blount County, Tennessee for Thursday, July 16th, 2026. Thank you, deputies. Thank you, chaplain, for leading us in the pledge and the prayer. At this time, we will pause for the emergency evacuation procedures announcement. Madam Clerk, please take the roll call.
Mr. Chairman, you have 20 members present. 1 member is absent but en route.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. I will declare that a quorum is in attendance. This time we'll move on to item A, setting of the agenda. Chair will stand for a motion to set the agenda as published. I have a motion from Commissioner Wright, second from Commissioner Giles. Any discussion? Before we begin, I would like to just make a brief statement about the rules because I know there was some confusion and some questions raised by the public about some of the resolutions on our agenda and kind of the procedure that's followed. And there were some issues that arose, and so I just want to go through and kind of respond to them and give the chair's opinion on some things, and then we'll take it from there. So one issue that's been raised is the question of resolutions coming to the Budget Committee without sponsors. As the commissioners well know, this has been the practice as far as back as I can remember, and probably as far back as any of you can remember. That's the way it's been done, and the reason for that is if you look at Rule 9 of the Commission rules, it discusses budget requests for amendment or appropriation coming before the Budget Committee. Those are submitted to the Budget Committee directly. Those, I understand, those are not filed by the clerk's office. Those are filed through the Budget Committee process. And typically sponsors are added in accordance with custom and in accordance with the rules through that process. And following Rule 9, a recommendation is issued by the Budget Committee, and then the accompanying resolution to those amendments are then presented to the Commission workshop. And that's discussed in the last rule in Rule 9. And then we flip over to Rule 6. It is contemplated in TCA 512-213, which is the Local Budgeting Option Act of 1993, that those amendments are going to be discussed by the Budget Committee and then sent forward. And it doesn't mention sponsors, it mentions requests for amendment or appropriations. Issue number 2, Commissioner Bright's name was erroneously added to the Pellissippi Parkway resolution as a sponsor. That was a clerical mistake that no one caught. I want to be clear that was not falsifying documents, that was not anything other than an error that was made, and occasionally, we're human, errors are made in, there's a lot of documents and paperwork that we have to deal with. So that has been corrected, and that is not something that is anything other than a clerical mistake. I also want to indicate that the rules say that there has to be 2 sponsors on each resolution prior to debate and voting. And that is a procedural rule of order that has to be timely objected to at the time it is made. Robert's Rules discusses this. It says you have to raise a point of order at the time that it was made. If you don't make the timely objection, then it's a moot point, and it's something that has to be brought up at the time. Issue number 4 that I've heard is that the Budget Committee did not take action on the South Plant. Going back to TCA 512-213, again, the committee or the mayor have to consider those and move them forward, and that's contemplated under the rules. So I just wanted to say all of that to say I've reviewed a lot of documentation. I've looked at Robert's Rules. I've looked at the advisory opinions to Robert's Rules, which no one ever looks at. It's not exactly entertaining reading. But I have studied this issue, and the chair's position on these resolutions tonight is they are properly before this body for consideration. If you disagree with that, I will not be offended, but it has to be brought up as an appeal to the ruling of the chair and a point of order. Any further discussion on the setting of the agenda at this time? Seeing none, if you are in favor of setting the agenda as published, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 20 yes votes.
20 yes. The motion carries. The agenda is set as published. We'll move on to item Item B, general consent calendar. Chair will stand for a motion to adopt the general consent calendar. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Carver. Any discussion on the general consent calendar? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting the general consent calendar, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Commissioner Carver. Mr. Chairman, there are 20 yes votes.
20 yes votes, the motion carries, and the general consent calendar is adopted. At this time, I will ask Clerk Gay Hasty and any members of her family, and the mayor and any commissioners who wish to join us in the well for a special proclamation. All right, as many of you know, our County Clerk, Gay Hasty, is retiring this year after many years of loyal service to this county and in the office of County Clerk. So I have a proclamation. Whereas Gay Hasty first took office as Blount County Clerk on September 1st, 2016, after having been elected by the citizens of Blount County for 2 consecutive terms, therein having served a total of 10 years of dedicated public service to the citizens of Blount County as Blount County Clerk. And whereas Gay Hasty also served with honesty, devotion, a strong work ethic, and dependable loyalty in other Blount County government offices, such as the property assessors as a clerical assistant and property sales analyst, then their office manager, the Planning Department as their office administrator and planning assistant, and the county executive, mayor's office, as receptionist and accounting assistant, therein having served a total of 33 years of additional dedicated public service. And whereas Gay Hasty has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to professional excellence, earning the Certified Public Administrator designation through the University of Tennessee County Technical Assistance Service, CTAS, completing the Local Government Leadership Program, Class of 2020, and in 2025 named the Outstanding County Clerk of the Year. And whereas Gay Hasty has actively contributed to her profession through the Tennessee State County Clerks Association and the East Tennessee County Clerks Association, providing leadership as chair of the Marriage and Vital Records Committee, and serving multi-year tenures on the Legislative, Hotel Motel Tax, and Conference Planning Committees. And whereas Gay Hasty, inductee of the 2025 Blount County Sports Hall of Fame, has also participated in community activities such as the Blount County Republican Women, the Chilhowie View Community Center Board of Directors, and the Experience Your Smokies Leadership Class. And whereas Gay Hasty is a lifelong Blount County native and one of 4 daughters born to Galen Johnson Jr. and Betty Pierce Johnson. She is a graduate of Porter High School and holds an associate's degree from Hiwassee College. Gay and her husband of over 40 years, former Blount County Commissioner Mark Hasty, share 2 children and 8 grandchildren. They have been active members of Forest Hill Baptist Church for over 30 years. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Blount County Legislative Body, the dedicated public service of Gay Hasty to the citizens of Blount County, Tennessee is sincerely appreciated and is hereby honored and recognized. I just want to add on a personal note, I have known our clerk, Gay Hasty, and the Hasty family for a long time, and they're just outstanding people. We're going to miss having you up here, Gay, very much. We've been through a lot of meetings up here, and we just appreciate everything that you have done. Would you like to say a few words?
Do I get 3 minutes or 10 minutes?
The gavel's over there, so you can talk as long as you wish.
Well, I will tell you, I'm going to show you how it's done. Steve Michaels, take note of this, wherever you are. I really do. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to serve as your county clerk. It has been such an honor for me to serve in this capacity, and I thank God for allowing me to be here for as many years as I have and serve the citizens of Blount County. I can't go without thanking him for opening that door back in 1983. And I also can't go without saying thank you to my family, my tribe, my people. They've been with me every step of the way and supported me through some crazy endeavors, picked me up, encouraged me, and just kept me going at times. Thank you to this commission for being patient with me. 10 years ago, it was a little bit of a learning curve, and we went through a lot of changes, a lot of technology changes, but we survived it, and the county has been so much better served with what has taken place. And there's a very special group of people here tonight. I have some employees here. Please stand. They are the best in the state, and they have been wonderful to work for, and they have been patient with me because sometimes I come up with some crazy ideas, but we have survived it, and I'm not going away. I'm going to be right here in town, and I may not come to commission meetings.
We'd love to have you.
I think I'm going to take a vacation from that for a little while, but thank you so much, citizens, for supporting me, and I wish everyone the best in the future. Thank you.
Stand by these.
Watching the news, I was like, not even thinking. First a text, and I was like, yeah,
People in front, Linda.
Come up here. There you go.
thanks for that. I said, I've never been going. I did it because I didn't want to come up here.
Hey, commissioners, if you want to stay up here, we're going to have a second proclamation.
You're going to hate me for this. This is Stephanie. This is your oldest daughter.
Byron wants me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Aaron couldn't be here, right?
He thought it was 7, so 6.
Oh, no.
That's my fault. Actually, it's not my fault. They were right.
All right, at this time, I'd like to read another proclamation. We have 3 students here from Alcoa Intermediate School, Emma Connor, Rocker Cochran, and Aiden Taverna, correct? All right, and we have the sponsors here, Mr. Michael Bauman from Alcoa Intermediate School and Ms. Hope McDonald from Alcoa Intermediate School. We'd like to honor them for just an outstanding achievement. We recognize a lot of state champions here in our commission, but tonight we're getting ready to recognize a national champion. Whereas the Blount County Commission recognizes the importance of innovation, education, and the advancements of science and technology through the achievements of our students, and whereas 4 exceptional students from Blount County who attend Alcoa Intermediate School, Emma Connor, Riker Cochran, Aaron Gallagher, and Aiden Taverna, represented our community with distinction in the Presidential Artificial Intelligence Competition, sponsored by the First Lady of the United States. Whereas more than 20,000 students and 2,500 teams from across the nation submitted entries to the competition, making this one of the most competitive student innovation events in the country. And whereas the Blount County team advanced to the Final 40, then to the Final 5 in their competition track before ultimately earning the title of national champions in Track 1 Elementary Division. And whereas the competition challenged students to identify a real-world problem affecting their communities and develop an innovative solution utilizing artificial intelligence. And whereas the students designed an AI-powered application concept featuring 2 important functions: an educational assistant that helps students work through homework assignments by providing guiding questions and critical thinking prompts, rather than simply supplying answers, and a time management tool that helps students develop responsibility by reminding them when to begin assignments in order to complete them on time. And whereas the team's innovative and concept demonstrates not only technical creativity, but also a commitment to the improving education, encouraging independent learning, and promoting student success. The team presented their project on June 8th at the historic Andrew W. Mellon Auditorium before receiving the National Championship Award on June 9th from the First Lady during a ceremony at the White House, followed by a celebration in the White House Rose Garden. And whereas the students were guided and inspired by their dedicated teachers and sponsors, Hope McDonald, Michael Bauman, and Dr. Emily Holtz, whose leadership and mentorship helped cultivate this remarkable accomplishment. And whereas the team has continued its efforts by applying for a $50,000 grant to fully develop their application so that it may benefit students beyond this competition. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Blount County Commission that it hereby congratulates and honors Emma Connor, Riker Cochran, Aaron Gallagher, and Aiden Taverna for being named the national champions in Track 1 Elementary Division of the Presidential Artificial Intelligence Competition. Be it further resolved that the Blount County Commission expresses its sincere appreciation to Hope McDonald, Michael Bauman, and Dr. Emily Holtz for their dedication to fostering innovation, academic excellence, and leadership among the youth of Blount County. Be it further resolved that the Blount County Commission commends these students for demonstrating that the future of innovation is bright and that Blount County's young people are capable of competing and succeeding on the national stage. Be it finally resolved that the clerk of the commission shall spread this resolution upon the official minutes of Blount County Commission and provide suitably prepared copies to students, their teacher sponsors, and their school in recognition of this extraordinary accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's all for you.
Oh, sorry. You got back here quick. I said, you got back here quick.
All right, the room will come to order, please. Next item on the agenda is public input on items on the agenda. So we have a packed house, so let me just explain kind of how this works. For those of you who haven't joined us before, we have 2 spots for public comment on the agenda. The first one is the one we're about to do, which is public input on items on the agenda. So if you are speaking to us tonight on an item that is on our agenda tonight, this next segment is your time to come up and speak. We are also going to have a time at the end of the agenda called public input for items not on the agenda. So if you are speaking to us about something that's not on tonight's agenda for us to vote on, you will speak at the end of the meeting. And you can do both. You don't have to pick and choose. The way I'm going to do it is I've got several of these green cards that have been submitted that were filled out by those wishing to speak out front and submitted. And then after that, after all of those have been called, I'm going to call those who raise their hands and wish to speak to items on the agenda. Speakers, when you come up, you have 3 minutes to speak. Please tell us your name, the district in which you live, and the item that you are speaking to us about. So your name, your district, and what you're speaking to us about. You have 3 minutes. Your time will be displayed up here on the monitor, and please don't go over that because these fine folks have given me the gavel so I can be the bad guy. They like me the least. So I will be strictly enforcing that so that we can get to everyone and so that we can be fair. So we're going to be following that time limit strictly. So please conclude your comments when you get to about 10 seconds left and tell us what you're speaking to. Please remember to address the chair or the commission as a whole and not individual commissioners, not the mayor, not members of the audience. At this time, I will call the first person. I have Michelle Stevens. Michelle Stevens, are you present? All right.
Have her pull the microphone towards her, please.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not coming back.
Ms. Stevens, I moved that microphone to be pointing up here for the proclamations. If you could just pull it down to where it's close to you so we can hear you.
How's that?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. You may proceed.
Hello, Board. I come to you as a child of God with the love of Jesus Christ, sure juris, as one of the people who hold all political power. Marbury
Ms.
versus
Stevens, could you just speak up a little bit more, please?
Marbury versus Madison, 5 U.S. 137, 1803. Thus, the particular phraseology of the Constitution of the United States confirms and strengthens the principles supposed to be essential to all written constitutions that allow repugnant.
Ms. Stevens, just a second. Ms. Stevens, which district, do you know which district you're in?
I believe it's District 4.
Okay. And which item are you speaking to on the agenda?
Can I reclaim time?
We'll reset it. What item are you speaking to on the agenda?
It goes in with the extension of Pillissippi
Okay, we'll
and the
reset.
flock cameras.
Okay, we'll reset your time. Go ahead.
Okay, Marbury versus Madison, 137, 1803. The particular of the Constitution of the United States consent. Section to see either how this last noted because this the to Pillissippi or State Route 162 that connects to interstate on the county's tax dollars. Is this money coming from the fees given for all the new subdivisions that have been built? If so, that money has been directed away from the county infrastructure and then given to a state and federal project. That would be maladministration of our county taxes and without the people's support. Maxim of law, where there is a law prescribes a form, the non-observance of it is fatal to the proceeding, and the whole becomes a nullity. Maxim of law, all political power is inherited in the people by decree of God. Thus none can exist except it be derived from them. Slaughter versus Trump basically says that our government is turning back to the Constitution. The administrative state is no more. I highly suggest that this board strictly stick to your boundaries written within the Constitution. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. Ms. Stevens did it perfectly, but I will remind everyone that we can't give back and forth during this time. This is just our time to hear from you. So we're not going to respond to questions, or those have to be addressed later during the meeting by the commissioners during debate or during announcements and statements. So just in case it comes up. Mr. Thompson, are you on items on the agenda?
Yes.
All right, come up, sir, and it's your turn.
Brian Thompson, District 3. I'm here to speak on the agenda items number 3 and 4. Item number 3, $8 million for the Industrial Development Board for the purchase of Alcoa South Plant, forwarded without recommendation by the Budget Committee. I urge this commission to not do this. Earlier this summer, there was a rumor going around that Alcoa, the company, was looking to sell some of their old properties. South Plant is one of their old properties for AI data centers, and everyone was very worried, and I feel rightly so. This commission passed a set of resolutions that would vastly restrict what an AI data center would be constrained by, making it virtually impossible to build one, which was great. Problem is, it has no teeth unless the planning committee puts that into motion. And given the number of zoning appeals and exceptions that we've seen passed, despite public input, the votes do not fill me with confidence that even if we spent $8 million, and last week at the working group, this was discussed among you for an hour as to whether or not this was a good investment, that it might give us a say on what was put in side of Alcoa city limits. Because if we don't, then we have no say, which is fine because it's Alcoa city's land. I do not trust that even if we spent the $8 million, that there would be nothing put in that we disagreed with. The Pellissippi Parkway seems to be moving forward despite our input. I don't believe that there would be anything holding back a data center or anything else we don't want going in there. $8 million, we have no plan for it. That is not an investment. Somebody may have a plan for it, but they aren't warranted our tax money. I think this is money, this money would be poorly spent, putting $8 million to maybe have a say in what goes in here. On item 4, the Pellissippi Parkway extension, I don't know what to say. This has been going on a long time. Last week, you heard from us for an hour, and then with no debate, voted and passed this onto the agenda tonight, 11-5. And that was discouraging, to watch a great deal of debate be given to one item that no one spoke on. It warranted debate. But then when the thing that we cared about was brought up, there was no debate, and it was pushed forward to tonight's agenda. I think you've heard from us before, and you're going to hear from us again tonight. I don't know what leverage we need to get you to go our way, but our words seem to be falling on deaf ears, and I hope tonight you will open your ears and listen to us. Do not spend $5 million with no guarantee of work to be done on a project that is not ours to complete and that we do not want. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. We'll move on to Mr. Frank Woody.
My name is Frank Woody. I live in District 1, and thank you for letting me speak. I stand here in front of you this evening an embarrassed Blount County citizen. Why am I embarrassed, you ask? Thanks for asking. I'm embarrassed to have to even be here to watch these proceedings tonight. It's a shame we can't be at home with our families, eating supper. But we have to be here to keep our eye on our commissioners. Some of you all have lost your way, and tonight we're going to find out how lost you are. So I'm talking about the PPE and the Alcoa property. There are two resolutions considered tonight, and as far as I am concerned, they are wrongly on the agenda. And as far as I'm concerned, you, the commission body, did not follow your own rules, in my opinion. These resolutions should have been removed from the agenda. And Mr. Speaker, as you said when you started out explaining things to the effect of, well, that's how we do things, or that's just how I guess, that was cute. Let me go ahead and add that in there for you. For those of you that have lost your way and have forgotten who you work for, I'm here to remind you, you work for me. And you work for these people back here. That's who you work for. Now, with that being said, let me tell you who you don't work for. You don't work for the realtors of Blount County. You don't work for big builders from out of state that want to come in here and build up our city or our county. You don't work for Jeff Hedrick. And you don't work for Brian Daniels and his Muppets, or handlers, I'm sorry. So with that said, if you don't do the right thing and take the resolutions off, which you don't look like you're going to, whenever you push that button tonight, right up here on this board, it's going to light up red, it's going to light up green or blue, whichever way you choose to go. Now, I beg you do the right thing and vote these silly things down. We don't need to be doing this. But whenever that board lights up tonight, ever how it lights up, that's going to tell me, and that's going to tell these people back here who you work for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Woody. We have Ms. Skinner now, Kathleen Skinner.
Hi, I'm Kathy Skinner in District 9, Ron French. I'm speaking about the resolution regarding the right-of-way purchase. Whether you are for the extension or against it, whether you are for or against giving money to TDOT for the right-of-way, or whether you are basically undecided, this contract is a problem. I have read it, I have highlighted it. It was written by TDOT for TDOT. The county attorney was consulted and reported that the contract is okay. Yes, it is a legally sound contract. But is this contract good for Blount County? No, it's not. It is a bad deal for us. The contract has Blount County give TDOT $5 million plus $6 million worth of Pellissippi Place property, 60 acres that was bought with taxpayer money with the intent that we recoup some property tax revenue from it with commercial and residential development. A key feature of the contract is that the state can terminate the agreement without cause for any reason with only 30 days' notice. The contract's cost estimates and schedules are for planning purposes only. There's no construction or completion deadlines indicated. The contract states that the state can use the money for other things, even though funds are labeled right-of-way. It says TDOT can seize the right-of-way funds to pay any unrelated debts the county may owe the state. You may know that Tennessee is a pay-as-you-go state. Projects, road construction does not begin until there is actually money on hand. And since this project depends entirely on state and federal monies, 10 years from now, it is a gamble to give TDOT any money at all. Keep in mind, we are not required to help pay for the right-of-way. We are volunteering. If the state one day cancels this project, as it may well, considering its enormous and continued backlog, we cannot recover any damages. We have no guarantee that this gift of land, millions of dollars to TDOT, will ever be used for the extension. So do we trust the state? Do we trust TDOT? The TDOT cover letter tells the mayor to sign the contract if he finds it fully satisfactory. Whether you are for or against uncertain, this contract written by and for TDOT is a bad deal for Blount County.
Okay, next we have, thank you, Ms. Skinner. Next we have Tom Robinson. Mr. Robinson.
You've already started my time.
I'm sorry, I hit.
Tom Robinson, District 5. I own Bowman Farms, which will be taken by the proposed Pellissippi Parkway extension. And I'm a little bit tired because I've probably had more travel than a lot of you this week. Yesterday on social media, a commissioner posted about a silent majority. After he posted that, the county clerk, I can't even believe what she posted. I can't even believe what she posted. I was walking out of the door tonight, and my wife, who's the sister of a national hero this week, she looked at me and she said, "When are you going to tell them?" I said, "I'm going to tell them tonight." We the people, Tom Robinson, the landowner, I've come in here before and not had the cards. I have all the cards. I have them all. All of them. $6 million they were going to pay, TDOT was going to pay Brian Daniels $6 million. And now we're going to tax the taxpayers another $5 million. We got people up here saying it's $5 million. There was a time when they were going to pay Brian $6 million for the right-of-way. It's $11 million. 5 plus 6 is 11. And here we go again. So let's look at it. The road's been talked about since 1970. We all agree on that. Is the construction funded? No. We all agree on that. The third one is the one that kills y'all. It will kill you. You will take private land and go through land that has been vacant for 10 years. You know why it's been vacant for 10 years? Because Pellissippi Place was a disaster. You're going to violate my Fifth Amendment rights, take my land. I'll let the silent majority speak. The people who don't show up, I'm going to speak for them for the next 20 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. I think one of our light switches got hit.
He hit up against it on the wall.
There we go. Kevin Carpenter, you're next. Mr. Carpenter.
My name is Kevin Carpenter. I reside in District 6, and I'll be speaking on resolution item numbers 3 and 4. I think you're under a misconception that when you got elected, that it mattered, you think that it matters what you believe in. You're wrong. The only thing that matters is the people that you represent and what they think. You are only a spokesperson. That is it. Nothing more. To believe anything besides that is sadly wrong. I moved to this area 10 years ago, believing that this was the right place in the entire United States to come to. God-fearing, good people that would never do anything underhanded. I have been sadly disappointed. The Pellissippi Parkway extension, think about it. As fast as they build roads around here, we watch 129, probably 2041 before that road will ever be used. And you have the nerve to talk about how it will alleviate traffic. When? What will Maryville population be in 2041? The other item, this south plant that you want to purchase. It seems to be known that there's serious questions about what resides under the land. No one seems to worry about that at all. I've been involved in land that had to be cleaned up. If you think the money that you spent to purchase this land is a lot, it will be a drop in the bucket for you to clean it up, to have it available to be able to be used for anything. For you to proceed without having a thorough understanding of what you're actually buying, not just the stuff on top, what's underneath. It's a bad mistake. Bad, bad, bad. I wish better for the people of Blount County. They deserve more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Beth Anderson.
Beth Anderson, District 3. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak. A lot of you are, I know, and are friends with. I'm talking about item 4 on Pellissippi Parkway Extension. I just beg you not to go with it. I mean, for 29 years, I've lived in my home, and for 29 years, they've said it was coming. And it's not. And a lot of that land has been sold to developers because TDOT has pushed it off for so long. I just can't see that us paying $5 million and countywide with the Maryville and Alcoa, $10,970,000. I just can't see the benefit of it, and I don't want it. I don't want it in my backyard, which is literally will it go. I don't think that it's going to help anything. I also don't know. It's just a topic that I'm not crazy about, don't like it, don't want to spend the money. I don't want to argue with people that I love and adore, but I beg you just to think about what your citizens want. And you do work for the constituents, and you ask for their votes to put you in office. And I may just fall in the 10%, I don't know. But I speak to people every day, and while I'm waiting for the doctor to come in the room, we talk about the county, we talk about whatever there is to solve. And majority of them don't want it either. And I can't help it that they're not here tonight. I hope that you've done your due diligence in speaking to the people that are in your district and see how they feel about it, not just base it off of what you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Next, we have Michael Gribble. Mr. Gribble. I apologize, Mr. Gribble. Mr. Ryden will be next, just so you know.
My name is Michael Gribble. I live in District 6. Came to speak on the Pellissippi Parkway extension, and I made some notes on my phone, so I apologize if I'm not making eye contact with y'all. I'm sure that some of you have already decided how you're going to vote. But for those that are not sure, I hope you will listen. I've been coming to commission meetings since 2002. For a couple of years there, I came to every meeting that the county had, the zoning board of appeals, the planning commission. I come to all that stuff. I heard some comments earlier about the silent majority. And in all the years that I have been coming, since 2002, of that silent majority, I've never heard anybody stand up and speak in support of the Pellissippi Parkway extension. So that's 24 years. I mean, I know I can't ask you questions, but I hope that you would respond when you debate among yourselves, and I hope you will debate instead of just voting on it. Other than developers, have any of you heard from someone who favors the PPE? I mean, as we say there's this silent majority, has any of them called you, or why do they not show up to the meetings I mean, I know it's on the news every time you have a meeting that there's opposition, a large opposition, and it's been that way for years. If you have families, children and grandchildren, what legacy do you want to leave for them? And during the debate, and I hope you will debate it, I would like to hear from Mr. Anderson, the incoming mayor, to give his position and why. I mean, be a leader. And that's really, the only other thing I was going to say is about the minutes of the zoning, the public hearing. They had 2 public hearings. I don't think either one they allowed citizens to speak. So I'm not sure that that's even right. That should be redone. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Jim Ryden. Mr. Ryden. Mr. McCarter will be next.
Hello, my name is Jim Ryden. I'm in District 9, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk. It's good to see faces that I voted for and familiar faces that I've known for a few years, and mostly familiar, mostly friendly faces too. Anyway, I'm not here to offend anybody, but I'm talking about the Pellissippi Parkway, as so many people are, and I only have 2 things. Something of this magnitude, there's a new commission coming in September. It's going to be seated. Why couldn't this vote be delayed until September? And I don't expect anybody to answer. But it sounds a whole lot like the last 15 minutes of Joe Biden's presidency. Anyway, the second part is this. The Pellissippi Parkway, it's a 2-edged sword. It's going to help some people, those who live in southeast Maryville, Tennessee. They'll get to Knoxville faster. The tourists coming down from the north, they'll get to the Smoky Mountains faster. But I somehow, and it's being built under the disguise of tourism, but I somehow believe there's something else going on besides that. I've seen it other places where I've lived. I've only lived here 7 years, but I've come to love Blount County. It's the greatest place in America to live. And that other thing is, if this parkway is built, the property along the parkway, especially at the intersections, it's going to have an enormous value. Some people, the commercial property will be worth 10 times what it is now. Some people are going to get rich. I won't be one of them. You may not be one of them either. But I think economics is driving this more than tourism or trying to get people to and from and across Blount County. So I got 43 seconds. So if you pass this tonight, we won't remember who voted how on this, because it's going to be 12, 15 years before this parkway is ever completed. And it's going to be over $500 million to complete. You won't be remembered individually, but collectively, as a board, you'll be remembered as the people who chose to either preserve the natural beauty of Blount County or give in to high pressure and economic reforms and make the rich people richer. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryden. Mr. Nick McCarter, you are next.
How y'all doing? My name is Nick McCarter, and I'm with District 6. And I want to speak today on the South Plant purchase. I'm also the local union president for Local 309, and I've had a member of my family work for Alcoa/Arconic since 1921. And the purchase and agreement that y'all are about to enter into, I don't believe y'all have any idea what you're going to be buying. For $20 million, it'll cost you 3 times that to ever be able to put anything on that land, I assure you. 2 years I worked in there in the pot rooms, and I've seen what went on the ground, in the ground, under the ground, all over the ground, right? I've seen how that company will willfully kill members that work out there. I've seen them willfully deny safety. I've seen it. I've watched it. As Arconic, as Alcoa, right? And this is, as Alcoa, we've seen them, they were charged for bribery. They bribed the whole country, $364 million fines, what they got for that. They would bribe a whole country. Amanda Satterfield, she died in 2005, asbestos exposure, right? That they willfully withheld that knowledge of asbestos to their employees and allowed that exposure to happen, right? It's one of the biggest Supreme Court states in the state of Tennessee. That's the company that you're entering into an agreement with. And if you believe that they're telling you anything the truth about what's in the ground, under the ground, on the ground, ever been in the ground over there, you're fooling yourselves. I assure you that this will be a very, very, very expensive adventure that I don't believe the citizens of Blount County should have to foot the bill for. If you want to enter into that, you need to have some kind of remediation contracts in there that holds the company liable for what you find and what they clean up. I've been reading through the contracts. I can't see anything in there that holds that company liable, other than we're going to pay them a service fee. We're actually going to pay Alcoa a service fee to service their land. That's in your contract. I read that there, I'm pretty sure. That's wild. They're a $1 billion company, and this little municipality is going to pay them that. That's wild. So I really hope that you all reconsider this when it's time for you to vote here, and that you don't put the citizens of Blount County tax dollars through this. Thank you.
Next, we have Alon Lloyd. And then after Alon Lloyd, we'll have Terry Bobo.
Yes, my name is Alon Lloyd. I'm in District 8, and I'm speaking about the right-of-way for the Pellissippi Parkway extension. And I want to be abundantly clear to every single person in this room that the push to give TDOT $5 million of our local taxpayer money and $6 million in land for the right-of-way is tied to a contract with no commitment to build, no return of money if the project is canceled, no time frame for completion, and TDOT has no pot of money with that $318 million shortfall of the $372 million project estimate. And in 10 years from now, that cost will, of course, be higher. What TDOT does have is a $58 billion backlog worth of repairs and construction that it can't get to. 10 years from now, that figure will also be higher. So another thing that TDOT has are traffic studies showing that many of the roads and intersections will be unchanged or made worse by the Pellissippi Parkway extension. Those are inconvenient facts. Yet the Blount Partnership wants us to believe that this project is inevitable. Last week, the vote to move the resolution to this meeting only met the minimum requirement to pass. So, a lame duck session with the slimmest margin necessary voted to rush this through. Yet we are told this is a priority of the governor. But we will have a new governor before construction begins. So this body, some members of this body are willing to risk giving TDOT our money to begin right-of-way for a project that may never happen. Because some members of this body would rather rush the vote than fix the contract.
Thank you, Ms. Lloyd. Next, we have Terry Bobo. and after Ms. Bobo will be Angela Montoya.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor Mitchell. I am Terry Shields Bobo. I am a lifelong resident of District 9 in Blount County and the Wildwood community. First off, I would like to thank you, Steve Michaels. I would like to thank you for listening and standing up for the citizens in District 9, for all the unseen time and service you put toward our community, from standing in the rain with me and my family and the community. Late evening phone calls, meetings with communities, and always making yourself available to listen to our community. To weed-eating roadsides when weeds had taken over our stop signs and our intersections. To fight the fight when most people were against you. Thank you, Steve. Thank your family. And for your dedication to Blount County and District 9, you will be sadly missed. Now on to the matters at hand. I urge commissioners not to allow county funding for Pellissippi Parkway, or as we call it, the tourist highway. While I understand transportation is important, I also understand our county has more pressing priorities. You should be more considerate with funding and upgrading our public schools, security in our schools, and the existing infrastructure. The argument for Pellissippi is to get folks to the mountains, to lift the burdens off the county road and the congestions in the Maryville and city of Alcoa. But is this really the case? In the late 1970s and early 1980s, we were told that U.S. Highway 321 needed to be rerouted, widened through Maryville to support tourism and economical growth, to create a modern and efficient corridor to the Great Smoky Mountains to relieve congestion in the downtown area. In reality, what Pellissippi will do is strip farmland, destroy folks' livelihoods, and take away from people traveling to and from Alcoa and Maryville. And it will cripple Tesla Boulevard and soon the money pit of the South Plant. And according to Mr. Applegate, these areas depend largely on the traffic flow for their survival. My question to this governing body is, what's the hurry? This commission and the mayor have waited till the last minute of their terms to try to push this ridiculous spending through. It is to my understanding that TDOT does not have the necessary $372 million to fund the project, and as many have said, TDOT is a pay-as-you-go financial system. The state will only start a new project when funding has been secured and allocated. And if you move forward with this fund, TDOT will not have the funds to even finish the project with this little bit, and there's no guarantee it will be finished. This project will be devastating to what is left of the farming community of Blount County.
Thank you, Ms. Bobo. Your time has expired.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. Angela Montoya.
My name is Angela Montoya, and I'm with District 9. I spoke to this commission last week about using our local tax dollars to acquire right-of-way property for the Pellissippi Parkway extension. I'm not going to repeat what I said then, but today I just want to tell you a little story about our neighbor, Joe. Many of you probably already know him. Joe has the only house in our neighborhood with a gravel driveway. It's very uneven with pits and gullies, and it's really ugly. One day last year, he was so excited to tell us that he had come across some money, and he planned to have it paved, and how much benefit it would bring to our neighborhood. We replied, yes, great, it's about time. It will certainly add to the neighborhood aesthetics, and it will certainly benefit a few. Then, a few days ago, our own home suffered a leaking roof, and our air conditioner went out. Both repairs that require immediate attention. Shortly thereafter, Joe came back to us. He told us that he still planned to pave his driveway, but in order to do it, we needed to give him $5,000. He was also going to demand the same from the other neighbors. Well, my husband seriously considered his demand, but we had some questions. Why was he now asking for our money when at the beginning he said he was going to pay for it? Joe couldn't give a reasonable answer. What if he later decided not to pave his driveway? Would we get our money back? Joe told us no. If we provide the money, should we divert it from our own much-needed home repairs? Joe answered with a resounding yes. To me, this is a terrible agreement. I don't think it's wise to use our own money. However, Joe keeps whispering in my husband's ear. So my question to you, commissioners, and I know you can't answer me, but I want you to think about this. What do we do? What advice would you give us? I'm not asking if Joe needs the driveway or not. He does. But I'm asking if my husband and I should pay for it. Our local tax dollars and our resources should not go toward acquiring property for a state project that we were initially told would use no local tax dollars. So whether my story about Joe is true or not, here we are today. I think we need to tell Joe to build his own driveway. So please vote no on it.
Thank you, Ms. Montoya. Jesse Webster.
I'm Jesse Webster from District 8. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about the Pellissippi Extension. What I see here is an opportunity for us all. We all want what's best for our families, our friends, our children, and our grandchildren. Even though many Blount Countyans say no to development, obviously, we need places to live, jobs, healthy communities. It's just that development without cohesive understanding and input from the whole community can't be sustained and won't get us where we want to go. Go to Weirs Valley at the county line. I used to be thankful that it didn't look like it does closer to Pigeon Forge. No more. We're losing our rich East Tennessee heritage. Farmland for young families, hunting land, places for kids to get outside. Once another highway goes into Blount County, that's it. You can't get it back, so think carefully. What do we want for the future? The concept of the Pellissippi Parkway may have seemed like a good idea 50 years ago. We've heard that, but things have changed. Just because you started down a trail at one point doesn't mean you should stay on it when conditions change. We don't have to just throw up our hands and say, what are you going to do? Or it was just inevitable. So there's a lot of smart folks in Blount County. Young folks, we saw them tonight, and old folks. I'm not one of them, but I do know if we know what we want 50 years from now, working together, we can make that happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Webster. That is all the cards that I have, so at this time I will ask you to raise your hand if you have not spoken yet, but you wish to speak to items on the agenda at this time. I see one hand on the far right over here in the salmon-colored shirt. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Ingrid Hahn, and I did speak last week. I wasn't really prepared to speak this time, but there are some of you here who were not here to hear my comments. And I'd just like to start by saying this sticker that I'm wearing, it doesn't say no PPE, okay? I am against the PPE, but this is no money for the PPE. Because what I'm here to talk about and what y'all are considering tonight is only one thing. You're not considering the Pellissippi Parkway extension tonight, except in a remote way, because it's 10 years before it will even possibly be funded. You're talking about a contract tonight, and several people have pointed out some of the flaws in that contract. I said last week that I thought of it as a bad prenuptial agreement because it puts all the benefit on one party's side. And yes, it is a legal document that has no flaws, but you might not want your son or daughter to sign such a thing. Another thing I wanted to mention is that I've been attending commission meetings and planning commission meetings since the early 2000s. And one thing I've sometimes heard when I've talked to commissioners individually is, well, nobody shows up, nobody cares, nobody, we don't hear from the people. They don't have any input, so we have to make the decisions without hearing from them. And I don't think that that's always been the case. And last week, we had pretty much a packed house, and everybody that spoke about this item was uniformly opposed to spending that money. Everyone that I've heard tonight about that item is uniformly opposed to spending that money. The project, the Pellissippi Parkway Extension project is not funded. It's not funded. There is no money even potentially going to be available until 2036. That's when TDOT will look at it. Look at all the things that they haven't finished so far, things that we've got to finish first. Alcoa Highway, and then the Alcoa Highway bypass, and the potential widening of 129 that isn't going to happen anymore. The portion from where it splits down all the way to the mall. That would help because that's two lanes both ways, and it's terrible in the evenings. But that project's not being funded. Contract is a bad idea. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for those of you who voted no last week.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. All right, this gentleman is next.
My name's Mark Oliver. I'm in District 7. The gentleman that spoke about what's in the ground at Alcoa, you better drill some holes. I took asbestos out of the north plant, 1983. They sent us to the south plant to bury asbestos. Open your eyes, please. And it didn't come from north plant. It was at the south plant. There's no record of that. We hauled it in the back of an Alcoa pickup truck. It went in plastic bags. They took a backhoe, dug it, and buried it. So think about that. As far as Pellissippi Parkway, it should not go through until every road in Blount County is paved.
Let him speak, please.
I go down Mint Road every day. You get to Hustler Road, the road from there to Old Niles Ferry, smooth as a baby's butt. Once you get on down the road, I've had my wife's car lined up 4 times this year over potholes. I'm sick of it. I call the highway department. They ain't gonna do nothing except where they're building new stores and new apartments and houses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Let's see some hands, please. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Or sir. Sorry, I can't see past some heads. I will say I need to update my prescription, my glasses.
My name is David Spradlin. I'm in District 9. Steve, he's responsible. First of all, I want to talk about the Alcoa. What the gentleman just said is true. I have worked there with contractors there. I've seen what's gone in that ground. It ain't good. I've had workers get sick because of it, okay? And then if you buy it up, guess who's responsible for cleaning it up? We will be, the taxpayers. and that's going to cost us an arm and a leg. Pellissippi, plain and simple. Most of you all are on one side, political side. And from what I understand, that political side is supposed to be for less government and leaving people alone. And now you want to take these people's land. How is that less government? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spradlin. I'm going to start saying, hey, you. Yes, right there, sir.
I am blind, so I don't do it, so it's okay. Run me off, my time's up because I can't see it. Jason Fox, District 9, with Steve. Love you, Steve. So a little bit of history. Family's been here since the 1700s. I'm on the Georgia State roll for Cherokee Indians. I think this decision for the PPE project is a bad one. Our government's taken enough property from people that they should have never took it from. I've got 6 kids. I moved from a sucky place called Knoxville to Blount County because it's better. Or so I thought, until people started making stupid decisions. I want to say on David's point, I typically vote Republican. Don't know if that's any good anymore or not. Seems like anymore we're not a government for the people, even though we are the people, because it seems we have Republicans and Democrats. Neither one of them's any good. Think about it, folks. Now, also as far as the PPE goes, Mr. Jeff Hedrick, I believe he owned Volunteer Excavating, till he signed over his rights to his wife 100%. Well, it just so happens she works for Executive Realty, I believe the name of it. And guess who's one of the organizations that's in part of selling the property in that corridor? Bingo. She's making money on both sides, right? Excavating and property sales. You know, and funny enough, he told another neighborhood that they could use their HOA and put speed humps down because they decided to put 200-something more houses behind and cut out their cul-de-sac where their kids played. Then he went and had his guys take them up and said they couldn't do it and was going to throw them in the garbage after they spent their money on it. Do we really need more roads that we can't even take care of now? Martin Mill Pike's a disaster. It needs fixed. I drive on it every day. I replace my trailer constantly because it beats the fenders off of it. We can't pay for the stuff we have now. We cannot pay for something that's never going to happen, or at least ain't going to happen until I'm halfway dead and in the ground somewhere, like all the crap at Alcoa plant that you're getting ready to buy. Think about it. 6 kids, raising them to live here, raising them to become something. Are they going to have a place to live that still has a heritage? You know, like the high school. It was named Heritage for a reason. Now we're going to run a highway right up near it. Where's the heritage going to be at? Nowhere, because all the farmland's going to be gone. There's not going to be a heritage. I'm not talking about the school. I'm talking about our heritage. What everybody deserves to have and keep and hold on to. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right, anyone else? Yes, sir, in the back. Very back.
Hi, my name is Jeff Riggin from District 6 and speaking on resolutions item 3 and 4. After most of the audience left last week at the commission workshop, the commission voted to postpone voting on the board member appointments to 3 different boards. First board is an Industrial Development Board. The second is a Smoky Mountain Tourism Development Authority, of which there were 2 seats to vote on. And the third board was the Tellico Reservoir Development Agency. All of these appointments were for 6-year appointments. Commissioner Michaels proposed the postponement, pointing out that these were long-term appointments on very powerful, heavy-hitting committees. Commissioner Michaels also pointed out that, quote, "We don't need to be voting on this when there are so many new commissioners and a new mayor coming in that promised the people that they would be changing things." To be honest, if these are important enough to delay to the next commission and mayor, then certainly these two resolutions of the Alcoa South Plant and the Pellissippi Parkway deserve the same. The decision on these two resolutions will impact this county for generations. The current commission should not deny the members of the new commission the opportunity to decide what the future of Blount County is. I think it's, at the minimum, it's a courtesy to the new commission, and I believe that the citizens of this county and the apparent opinion are pretty much demanding it. Thank you, and I do appreciate all the commissioners' service, and including especially the ones that are not returning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else? Any further hands? Yes, back there.
My name is Judy Briley. I'm in District 5. This is going to be real short. The planning in this county has been less than stellar, to put it kindly. I've been here 25 years, and it just hasn't been done well. If the approval of the PPE goes through, that's just one more example. We are bursting at the seams, and from what I understand, tax dollars from other road improvement and other infrastructure projects will be taken to pay for this. I don't understand what the leaders of this community are trying to do. We are bursting at the seams. And the tax dollars are being finagled in 25 different ways just to encourage more reckless growth. I understand growth is inevitable, but it can be done slowly with actual thought and not crammed down our throats by people who seem to be hell-bent on turning us into another Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. Let's keep Maryville, Townsend, and this side of the Smokies the quiet side, and not turn it into a perpetual strip mall thoroughfare. I respectfully ask that you all vote no on this, but especially my two representatives. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any more hands? Did I miss anyone at all? Okay, seeing no hands, we will move on to item D, budget consent calendar. Is there any objection to taking a 10-minute recess? No, please. Please. All right, without objection, 10-minute recess. We'll reconvene in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Everyone, a brief announcement. Everyone, I've been advised that if you go past out the metal detector, you're going to have to be re-screened coming back in. So just be aware of that. Thank you. All right, we are back in session now. We were going to move on to item D, budget consent calendar. There's one item on the budget consent calendar, Resolution 260707. I have a motion to adopt the budget consent calendar from Commissioner Akerd, second from Commissioner Carver. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting the budget consent calendar, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
21 yes, the motion carries and the budget consent calendar is adopted. There are no elections, appointments, or confirmations or unfinished business. We're moving on to item G, new business. Madam Clerk, please read the first item.
BCSO grant application, $73,800 to apply for fiscal year 27 litter grant. No matching funds are required. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee 4-0.
I have a motion from Commissioner Giles, second from Commissioner Caldwell to approve the BCSO grant application for $73,800. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of approving the BCSO grant application for $73,800, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
21 yes, the motion carries and the BCSO grant application for $73,800 is approved.
BCSO grant application, $1,575,000 to apply for fiscal year 27 school security officer grant for 21 SROs at $75,000 each. No matching funds are required. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee 4-0.
I have a motion from Commissioner French, second from Commissioner Akerd to approve the BCSO grant application for $1,575,000. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of approving that BCSO grant application, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
21 yes, the motion carries, and the BCSO grant application is approved.
Resolution number 267001, budget increase, debt service and general fund, $8 million. Enter into an agreement with Industrial Development Board for the purchase of Alcoa South Plant, forwarded to full commission without recommendation by the Budget Committee.
Chair will stand for a motion to adopt resolution number 2607001. Motion from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Wells. Any discussion? Commissioner Carver, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
So there was some question about the ground, the soil. Has there been any studies? And I don't know if anyone, Mr. Daniels, could answer that or not, showing about the...
Mr. Daniels, please come forward.
Sure, happy to answer that question. So roughly at the 2018, 2019, we actually started in conversations with TDEC related to this South Plant site. We did not want to be responsible for any remediation that would ever take place. And so we engaged with a consultant, SM&E Engineers. They're an environmental engineering firm with those discussions. We met with the commissioner of TDEC, and we would spend the next 2.5 years perforating the site with TDEC and trying to uncover any toxic materials that may be in the ground. Because if you're interested in entering into a brownfield agreement, you've got to have some environmental testing, and we even went through even doing vapor barrier tests. And so the way brownfield agreements work in our country and in our state, they are basically hold harmless agreements for the end user, because no one wants to be liable for any past sins that have occurred in the past. And so the Department of Environment and Conservation wants to get these properties who had a historic heavy industrial use back to being a productive asset, but they know that people don't want to have to do any remediation if they uncover anything, and that hence why our government's created brownfield agreements. And so brownfield agreements What you do is you have to identify anything that could be in the soil, and you give it on a list of here are the contaminants. And TDEC then says, okay, we recognize these could be potential contaminants there if there's any that are uncovered. And if you encounter these, then you do not have to remediate them as long as you don't remove them off site. If you disturb them in any way, then if you keep it on site, that's fine. And I actually have a letter from the Department of Environment Conservation. I also have the brownfield agreement that's in the IDB's name saying that this case is closed with TDEC, that they will not hold the IDB in any way liable for any issues that were found there. But through that process, what was found was that there were hydrocarbons there. There were some above ground storage tanks where they did some refueling. And if anybody's had a farm or any property, you'll spill some hydrocarbons on the ground. And so there were traces of those, and they have encouraged us, if you encounter those, if you cap that somewhere, put it under a parking lot or whatever, you're fine. If you go to remove it off site for any reason, then you'll have to follow the guidelines of disposing of it. Now, with the industrial board that we have as a community, it is a joint board, and it being a joint board means that no one government is legally responsible for any indebtedness or any liability it has. That's why we have a joint industrial board. So if we were to take on debt, we can't pay that, it doesn't ever go to the local governments that created us. It is a joint board, hence liability also. And we have actually opinions from our attorneys that keeps it in line from translating over to the local governments also. So we have this agreement in place. TDEC has been in conversations with us. They want to see this site redeveloped, and we feel very comfortable moving forward.
No, we're not going to have that. We're conducting the business of the county right now. Mr. Carver, you have the floor.
So with that study that was done, do we have areas that we wouldn't even do any type of development on, and then the others that's been approved and cleared?
So of the 162 acres, we don't see anything that can be not utilized.
Oh.
You've got to remember, on this property, you've got 2 active railroad systems that encircle it. And so to the other side of the railroad, being toward kind of where CVS is at, you wouldn't develop on the other side, and that's just small strips. But really into the interior core, that's what projects we've been working to look at that have come through, that Alcoa has brought through at different times. It is, that core is usable. And they actually still have an administration building in the center.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hanna, you're next on the motion to adopt.
Brian, I have a couple questions for Brian or Mayor Mitchell. The amendment, can you please clarify the exact amount we are being asked to fund? Is it $8 million or $12 million?
For us, it is $8 million to you all.
The proposed distribution of funding for acquiring the South Plant property is 60% county, and the city municipality split $4 million at 30% each. How is that in the best interest of the county?
So you want to, I don't mind answering, you want to? Yeah, so the split is 40, 30, 30. So you've got 40% from the county, and you've got 30% coming from each city. That's how we've done all of our partnership parks in the past, and the historic reason for that was the county wanted to get just a little bit more property tax revenue coming in from any investment. So that's where the 40, 30, 30 came from. Or you could look at it, 40% county, 60% the 2 cities.
That was my next question, if the ratio for the taxes would be distributed the same.
And that would be property taxes, and that would be sales tax also, except excluding the local option sales on schools, but outside of that, it would also be split too.
Why is this new IDB development needed, and why doesn't the buyer purchase directly from the owners of Arconic?
Well, so this property is not owned by Arconic, and there's a continuing misconception there that Alcoa Pittsburgh, as I call it, did a split in 2015, and they created a new company, but they took the legacy federal ID numbers with them. That was Arconic, and then Alcoa Springbrook Partners was created to do one thing, and that was dispose of this asset. That's the only thing they have in our community.
There is a section in the document, number 38, that states if purchased, that the overall control of this property would be managed by the Joint Operating Committee of the IDB. Is that correct?
Yes, and so with every industrial park that we have developed collectively together, the Joint IDB, actually all three mayors sit on the board already, but we do another layer of oversight, and that is with the elected managers of the three governments. And so those mayors have to approve any development, any land sale, any incentive that is done resides with them.
But further down in that document, number 4A states that the South Plant development will be controlled by the special South Plant Board with the three mayors and the president of the IDB. Am I understanding that correctly? And will there be a JOC and a JOB?
So, no, just to cut through the confusion, the Industrial Development Board, the Joint Industrial Development Board is the legal owner. However, there is an operating, again, sitting over top of them that is the three elected leaders, and it'd be the chair of the IDB. So the four of those would have to approve any land sale transaction or use that would be done.
Would that have to be unanimously agreed upon?
Would it have to be unanimously voted on? Historically, in my 25 years working for the community, I have never seen it not unanimous. They've all worked very hard together to get everybody comfortable.
My last question, if there is a case of a disagreement between the cities and the county that goes to arbitration, who pays for that fee?
So each local government would pay for their own arbitration in that piece because the contract is between four entities, the county, the two cities, and the IDB.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Bledsoe, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
I'm on?
Go ahead. I'll get it. Just
Okay.
There we go.
Yes, Mr. Daniels, I do have a few questions. First of all, when looking at this property, and, you know, it does have, you know, for the county, $8 million price tag on it. Just looking in terms of the plans, at this point, is there a plan for the South Plant property? Like, I know it's probably, you know, for businesses, of course, but in terms of the type of businesses, you know, what we're looking, you know, is there a,
Sure.
besides just throwing, you know, putting $8 million out there, you know, is there something that says, okay, here's what we're looking to do?
Sure. So the current zoning is heavy industrial already. Mm-hmm. It'll have to say heavy industrial because of, going back to what I said before, it is surrounded by two active railroad systems. It also has an active mill beside of it, a smelter. I shouldn't say mill, a smelter beside of it. So we'll have to have like uses out there. So for us, you know, this will come down to a discussion with the mayors and leadership of, do we wait for a large one project to come out there and that'd be it? Or do you try to break it up into smaller projects to create a smaller business park and that sort of thing? You look at what they did in the West Development site, that is more of a commercial activity. That could not work in this endeavor, but they did break it up and redevelop it instead of doing one big project. This site lends itself for a big project. The projects that we've seen over the last 10 or 12 years come through have been to where they would take the whole site. I would suspect it would probably stay in that vein, but that is not my decision to make. That would be those three mayors and the leadership to do that.
Okay. A few other things. A second ago, you just addressed contaminants. Of course, that's no secret that
Sure.
property is, you know, like when they developed the West Plant property, went through the same process.
Sure.
But anyway, let's say moving past the purchase, we get to demolition of the old structures. You know, I'm sure there's old structures need to be taken down. Utility upgrades, road and traffic, planning, engineering, you know, any other type of remediation that could possibly take place. We're, you know, I'm guessing, I don't know, but we're looking at millions of dollars here. is that going, who's paying for that? Where does that come from?
So, sure, so fair question. So, there are no structures to demolish there. One of the things that Alcoa did, they decommissioned the whole site. The only structure left is the administration building that I think they built somewhere around 2004, 2005. It opened not long after then they decommissioned the plant and shuttered it. But it still sits in the middle of the site. So the projects that we've seen come through, this was a site that Smith & Wesson wanted to put their headquarters, but we could not come to terms with Alcoa Pittsburgh corporate over it. And what we saw is ECD, that's the Department of Environment and Conservation. They like to put in money and resources to help companies redevelop those sites. For us, if it is a one user, I would suspect that the excavation side would stay with them. We'd probably do some sort of incentive. Could be a tax abatement of some sort, could be anything, but we wouldn't have to redevelop the site. The only time you get into redeveloping the site is if the leadership decides, instead of saving this for one big user, we would want to break it up into a smaller business park, and then you'd have to build in roads and that sort of thing. Typically, what we've done is the state of Tennessee has several grants that we have leveraged through building all of our industrial parks, that if you have a bird in hand, we're going to break this up, they will help pay and defray costs for extending roadways. We did this with Axis Fabrication and the county last year. That's in our Stock Creek Development Center. They paid, I think, roughly 80% of all the costs associated with extending that road and utilities. And then we took our land sale money and we plowed that in to come up with the matching funds. And that's how we've historically built out these business parks. And I think you've got a economic study here that for the last week, Brian Baldwin's team's done an incredible job of getting together, and you show where a little bit of seed money we've been able to accumulate grants in other places to build these parks out. If leadership decided to turn this into a business park, I would suspect we would do the same philosophy.
Okay. Also, so let's go back to, like, for example, any other upgrades that's done to it. Okay, is that going to be on the businesses coming in, or is that going to be on the taxpayers?
Well,
like, you've got your roads, you've got your utilities,
So the road system that we have, I mean, it served the Alcoa South plant and the smelters that are there. Those road systems are still there. I can't speak into the future of what an end user will be because I don't know what their infrastructure requirements are. I do know that the Alcoa water plant is tied into this site. Early on, I do know that natural gas is already on site. I do know that there's an incredible electric infrastructure already on site. I mean, you see that driving through the community. I can't sit here and speak hypothetically when we don't know who the end user will be, but that'll be leadership's role to decide which is the best fit,
And one last thing, when you're talking about placing this in Alcoa, of course, this South Plant property goes around, it comes into contact with many different communities in the city of Alcoa. It comes into contact with Springbrook, the Hall Oldfield community,
right?
Close to Rock Gardens community,
right?
And it's hard for me to visualize what's that going to look like. What's going to be sitting right in front of these communities, and you got our schools. Right now, Springbrook Farm's coming through there. There's been some things coming to Springbrook Farm, right beside our school. It's not very pleasurable. So, and when all this comes up and goes, oh well, I'm going to eliminate the wells.
Yeah. No,
okay, and we need to be thinking too about these communities that this purchase is going to affect. It's, yes, we talk about economic development, we got to think about our people. We got to think about our communities. They're very historic communities in that city, and take a lot of pride in those communities. Yeah. And it doesn't take much to disturb that.
No, I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah.
In that, with the standpoint of us owning it, we then get a hand in choosing what goes out there versus we're along for the ride right now. And that's what we've been experiencing the last 5-6 years of we really don't have a say in that. And one of the big things that as we have gone on record for many years, we've not been out recruiting AI data centers of any size. We're not against them. They just don't make sense for our community because we're trying to diversify our economy in different ways. We don't need that big of a big of a company to be in that location. We'd rather break it up into smaller things. So couldn't agree more. That's why we want to have a hand in what goes out there.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Giles, you're next for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to ask this question out of ignorance. Were you or the Blount Partnership involved any at all with the development of the West Plant?
No.
None whatsoever?
We have, that project is outside of our scope. It is nothing we do anything with.
Okay, okay. Thank you. I wasn't sure. I didn't think so, but I just wanted to make sure. So my questions, I'm finished with you.
Okay.
If you are.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question that I have is, and it's an observation. For those of you that don't know, and some of you do, I worked for Alcoa for 31 years, the Aluminum Company of America. And I spent 10 of my 31 years in the South Plant, in the pot room area, in the electrode area, in the black area, as we used to call it, because that's where we produced our cathodes and our anodes. And it breaks my heart to see that it's no longer there, but it isn't, so we must move on. Last week, I was not present. I had what I considered a legitimate reason for not being here, but I did watch. I was able to watch it remotely. And I believe I heard our mayor speak and say that, folks, this is not the first time that we've entered into an agreement, we, being Blount County, with Maryville and Alcoa, and now I understand, at least for Pellissippi Place, Knoxville is involved too. And I think I heard you say, Mayor, that this is not the first time that we've done this, and I think you quoted, like, last 30 years we've been involved in these type of endeavors. Is that accurate? Thank you. So if I may, Mr. Chair, on Monday morning, I sent a request to our CFO, Mr. Brian Baldwin. I didn't know the answer. Didn't know the answer to this. I said, I think I heard our mayor say we've been involved in these in the past. So I'm really curious, is that true? How many times have we done this? And can you, with someone with a business background, talk to me about the business case for this? Is this something that is good for the taxpayers and the residents of Blount County from a financial point of view? I got a 5-page report, which I'll have to admit was much more than I had asked for from Mr. Baldwin, and he delivered that to me. And I am not a financial expert, so I'm going to ask Mr. Baldwin if you would hit the highlights and talk a little bit about those other investments, and only about the industrial park overviews, and only about Blount County's contribution. I don't really want to hear about Maryville and Alcoa. I'm talking about Blount County at this point. Not that there's anything wrong with those other entities. I'd just like to hear about Blount County. Can you share with us, or with this commission, the answers that I asked for you on Monday, asked you to produce on Monday, please?
Mr. Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner, yes, I'll do my best. You each should have a copy of that report, and it goes into detail for each park. It has distinct measures for each park, but I'm going to stick to the high points as requested. It goes back 55 years is how far this goes back, Commissioner, where Blount County has invested in. We have 6 separate industrial parks, and then we have a number of additional business campuses that make up the collection of our industrial parks. And just speaking just for Blount County data, today these parks employ over 11,000 full-time jobs, and they represent over 100 businesses. The return on investment really is twofold that come out of these parks. So the first is a direct revenue to Blount County through property tax and local option sales tax. So we've talked about the investment we're making tonight. If you look back collectively over 55 years, we have collectively, just Blount County's portion, has invested a little over $19 million in all these different parks.
Over the last 55 years?
Over the last 55 years.
Okay.
Today, those parks generate, between property tax and local option sales tax, $18.8 million a year.
Would you repeat that?
So we've invested 19 million over the last 55 years, and we generate per year 18.8 million.
Per year?
Per year.
Blount County?
Correct. Secondly, I would just point out that revenue is one thing, and that's what helps us keep a low tax rate. It helps us fund the services that we enjoy. But the second is the impact on the GDP for our community is 2.6 billion per year.
Would you,
Gross domestic product. So what's generated from these sites, it doesn't just stop at the revenue that we collect as the county. It is investments into other businesses. It's the downstream effect that impacts your overall economy and your financial health as a county.
okay. $8 million is a lot of money, but if things work in the future like they have in the past, this looks like this is more of an investment than it is an expense. Is that fair?
That's how we've typically looked at them, is that they're an investment into job opportunities for people who live in our community that do generate a tax revenue benefit.
Okay. That sounds very, very attractive. Are there any drawbacks or any concerns that you have or that the county has encountered over these past, you said 55 years, that would prevent us from doing this?
No, I think the questions that you all have asked tonight were the legitimate questions that we had when we started this process in talking with Mr. Daniels and the other two cities. So I would say all the questions you've asked are all the things we've been working through and trying to make sure that there's no risk or liability for the county long-term for this site.
Okay, thank you. And my last comment is, having worked for Alcoa for almost 31 years, and all with the exception of 2 years at the Alcoa plant, and I worked at the West plant, South plant, and North plant. I remember when all the plans were first put in place about the West plant, most of us Alcoa employees said that'll never happen because of all the explosive powders and Alberon plant and everything that took place in the West plant. We said they'll never be able to do anything with that property, and as often occurs, I was wrong, and many of us were wrong on that also. So I'm pleased to hear, because as I said, I worked in the South plant for many, many years and around the pot rooms, and I had concerns about pollutants and contaminants in the ground. But from what I'm hearing, they've done a series of tests and so forth that say that's been taken care of, and we've done the right things legally to make sure if they find anything else, we won't be liable for that. Did I understand that correctly, Mr. Daniels? Okay. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Baldwin.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Akerd for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One thing that I don't think he mentioned that's in this report that I wanted to point out is that's over $1 billion of annual payroll that's coming from the industrial parks in Blount County, and those are conservative estimates because of the availability of dollar figures, but $1 billion is a big deal for our community. And when we look at this project's cost and the extreme risk of an AI data center going in if we do nothing, this is a no-brainer. We don't have risk if we do this, and we've got risk if we don't do this. And we've got tax revenue coming into the county right now from our existing entities of $18.8 million a year, which more than pays for this year one. It's a no-brainer. And I don't understand any opposition to this being tied with any other aspect that's on our agenda tonight. I simply don't understand it. And I certainly hope that you all will ask any questions that you have doubts about and gladly put your yes vote with this task, because this is a no-brainer. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Davis, for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Chairman Anderson. I got a couple questions for Brian Daniels, please.
Mr. Daniels, please come forward.
How long have you had the brownfield agreement?
How long have we had it?
Mm-hmm.
We have had it. The final decree that I've got here was dated August 13th of 2001.
So you've started the brownfield agreement before it was even for sale?
Yes, we
Can you
did
tell me why?
so we did the brownfield agreement before, well, it's been for sale since 2015, when they finished decommissioning the plant, and Alcoa, the company, Pittsburgh, had the property. And as we were working with them in partnership, we saw that there were companies that were worried about, well, what's in the ground? What liability do we have? How long does it take to get a brownfield agreement? And so one of the things that the IDB did is it took money out of its reserve. It went through a 2.5-year process, and we got the brownfield agreement put in our name, which is unique in that since we don't own the property, but we own this contract. And the contract is an asset that is, that you can, what's the word I'm looking for, deed away to an end user. And so it has value, and it even states in the brownfield agreement, this is transferable. So for us, no project of any size like Smith & Wesson will they wait around 2.5 years to see, can we get a brownfield agreement or not? So that's why we did it. We have this whole time been trying to negotiate with Alcoa to acquire the property, but it has only been in the last few months that we've had any traction of having any of those discussions come about.
So have you had this land surveyed?
Have we had the land surveyed?
Mm-hmm.
It is on its separate, it has a separate, we've not surveyed it off ourselves, but we do know the limits are dictated in the brownfield agreement of the 162 acres, and that is what would only go with the transfer.
So how much of this property is contaminated?
So of the whole site, it came back very clean except for the hydrocarbons, and the hydrocarbons were identified in the upper right-hand quadrant. That'd be like toward, that would be toward the Alcoa can wreck that's up there near the train tracks where the hydrocarbons were identified. And what was told to us by the environmental engineers is that if you disturb any of that soil, as long as it stays on site, you don't have to do anything with it. You can cap it with an asphalt. That was really the only significance of anything found. But they left the contract open-ended enough that in case you encountered anything, we still wouldn't be held liable for that.
What is the urgency of purchase at this time?
So for us on the purchase, it is there are active bidders on the other side of the table, and at least what we've been experiencing is there is another project that has made a tender offer to them that they are ready to close on, that for us we don't think would be good for the community. There's actually a couple of them, and we've tried to intercede in that negotiation, and that's what's brought us here today.
That's all questions I have for you right now. Thank you.
Commissioner Michaels, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. this land is zoned heavy industrial with railheads all the way around it. And I know that in the people that I've spoken with, it would be in the best interest to continue to use this heavy industrial. Am I right? We're bent over a barrel, and it don't matter why. You know why, and you know how. You've read it in the paper. $19 million over 55 years. That's like just a little over double of what we're asking on this one project, this one time. And that's hard. My question would be, in that 55-year history, what was the taxpayer asked to throw in the hat to invest in one occasion? What was the most? Do we have that information? And when and what it was for, if you have it.
Mr. Baldwin?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, a few years ago, we invested $6.1 million in the property that now houses the big Amazon facility. And that now generates a revenue of $2.6 million a year just in property tax. I didn't factor in sales tax into that number, but just in property tax alone, it had a break even of under 3 years.
Okay. I think that we're in a pickle. And with this specific resolution, I know that the people out here, if we voted this down, and what else could happen to this property that's already zoned heavy industrial, the resolutions that this commission passed last month or month before, I can't remember exactly when it was, about AI data centers, has no teeth. Folks, we don't have a choice here, because I guarantee you the very people sitting out here and they're going to be ticked off because we did this are going to be the exact same people, if we don't, come back in here and be ready to put us all out there on the stake out there and burn us alive because the AI data center came in here and bought this. Some of you sitting out there is fixing to be up here in this seat. And I've had conversations with you before that there's a lot of times that I'm sitting up here and I really don't know how I'm going to vote on something until I push that button. And the only person I lean on is the Lord. Now you can heem-haw and say that's bull, whatever, but that's the truth. And I don't like this. I think it's bad business. I think that I've got a lot of hope for this commission and this mayor coming in that we're gonna shore some stuff up. it just about makes me sick to vote for this. But I can assure you, if we don't, and maybe they're calling our bluff, they might be. But I'd rather, the numbers say we'll be all right. I do want to see this next commission put in some checks and balances. I do not think that 4 people should be deciding and making investments. I don't give a daggum what your title is, mayor, director. 4 people making these determinations for 150,000 people when there's, and we've figured it up. You got five city councilmen, one of them's a mayor. You got on each Alcoa and Maryville, that's 10 people. And then you've got a mayor sitting outside of 21 commissioners. There's supposed to be representation of the people of this county. I know that there's issues of when you're dealing with things and you're trying to make deals, I understand there's issues that you can't let the cat out of the bag. I get it. I do. But at the same time, that's just what you're going to have to do. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to kick and scream if this don't get changed. Because it ain't working. And there needs to be more trust built between this functionality of an IDB and the people. And so I don't like it, but I don't know that we have any choice, because guarantee you, we have no zoning in place to keep an AI data center out of this place. None. So if we don't buy it and control it, you're going to be back up here in a couple months going, we don't want this data center. Well, tough, because we didn't put the money in where our mouth was. And this is the hard part of this job, because I feel like it's just been shoved right down our throat, and it may be a bluff, but if we don't, Commissioner Bledsoe's talking about those communities over there. Can you imagine going through there or fishing at the duck pond to a low hum? And then those people that live over there and have lived in those communities forever, and you go outside and it's not locust every year. It's supposed to be every 16 or 17 years. It's a dadgum AI data center humming at the Little League Park, at the swimming pool. So I am not a fan necessarily of the way we've been doing business for a long time with the IDB. And I do, again, have hopes that some of that changes. But if we don't, so you can be mad. Last week I was sideways because of how this thing happened. But as far as what we got to do, this is what we got to do. And I don't see any way around it. Anybody can run for a commission. Anybody. And you can sit back there and say, well, I wouldn't do that. Well, you don't know what you do. Because the fact of the matter is that you have to take all the facts, and regardless of what you want or how you want it, you got to make the best decision you can with what you've been dealt. And we either going to get an AI data center or the threat of, or we're going to invest this money and control the outcome.
That's time, Commissioner. Thank you. Next, we have Commissioner Hannah for the second time on the motion to adopt.
I think I heard someone in the audience ask what those potential businesses are. Brian, can you answer that question?
So we have seen projects from aviation come through. We've seen hyperscale data centers or AI centers come through. We have seen automotive projects come through, and we have also seen logistics companies come through. That's what I can say to that.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Davis for the second time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Chairman Anderson. So, thank you all for all the information to justify how you vote, but I vote for the constituents of Blount County. That's who elected me. That's who I hope to elect me tomorrow, starting with early voting. If we've had a brownfield test for 2 years and we're just now coming to the end of one mayor's term, like I said last week, if you weren't here, we know exactly how much money's in fund balance. We know exactly how much money they want to spend while they go out. I'm just going to tell you right now that I don't cave to fear, and I mean, maybe I should, but with all faith that our two cities and our county come together, if something bad's about to happen, we can change the zoning. But right now, I mean, it's a no vote for me, and I apologize, but that's just where I stand. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Reagan for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Commissioner Bledsoe, speak.
All right, Commissioner Bledsoe for the second time on the motion to adopt.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. This is where I struggle with some of these decisions. I've heard tonight the possibility of AI data centers coming to that South Plant property. And you all have heard it too, right? I mean, I'm not hearing things, correct? Okay. I talked to Alcoa City Planner 2 to 3 days ago. He's been there a long time. Anything that comes through that city, building, whatever, goes through his office. I specifically asked him, has any business, any AI data center contacted the city of Alcoa? He is the senior planner, city of Alcoa. The answer was no. I said, I'm going to ask you this again. He said, no, not to his knowledge. Okay, this guy's the senior planner. Okay? So I asked it again. I want to reiterate, has an AI data center contacted the city of Alcoa concerning the South Plant property? The answer, no. I've heard it 3 times tonight about AI data center possibly going into that place. I'm confused. To me right now, it's not so much about the money, it's about the principle. Somebody's facts are wrong somewhere. And we get pulled in all these different directions, this and that, yeah, no, yes, no. I called the city of Alcoa, the senior planner, and there, all the AI data center in the city of Alcoa in East. I'm voting on the principle. If we can't get those facts about an $8 million agreement, something wrong. So supposedly address that information. Thank you.
Commissioner Wynn for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate all the information tonight. It's cleared a whole lot of that I had myself, I would like to call for the question.
Commissioner Reagan calls for the question, second by Commissioner King. This will end debate on all pending motions, I believe, which is just the motion to adopt. If you're in favor of ending debate, you'll vote yes. If you're not in favor, you'll vote no. It's a previous question, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, previous
Yep, right
question.
there it is. Okay.
All right, commissioners, if you want to end debate on this motion to adopt, you'll vote yes. If you're against ending debate, you'll vote no. Anybody need clarification? All right, we're voting on whether or not to end debate.
Mr. Chairman, there are 14 yes votes and 7 no votes.
14 yes, 7 no, meets the two-thirds threshold. Debate is now ended. We are voting on resolution number 2607001. If you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2607001, you'll vote yes. If you're not in favor, you'll vote no. Has every commissioner voted?
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes and 2 no votes.
19 yes, 2 no. The motion carries. Resolution number 2607001 is adopted.
Resolution number 2670002, budget increase debt service, $5 million. Enter into an agreement with TDOT for right-of-way acquisition for the extension of Pellissippi Parkway. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee 3-1.
All right, I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2607002 from Commissioner Reagan, second from Commissioner King. I will note this is a corrected resolution number due to the postponement. It was 2606004. Now it's 2607002. Any discussion? All right, Commissioner Michaels, you recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Okay. That pissed me off, so I voted no, because
Commissioner, please keep it on.
Okay, but I mean, $8 million is a lot of money. And the questions that were raised, we should not have been ending debate on that resolution. But on to this one. I don't really have much to say about this other than the fact that we have no business taking people's land, making them pay for it, and making them move. And this has got to be one of the most horrible ideas. And I'd love to know who come up with this concept. It's not any coincidence that we are dealing with this once again. In 2011, I think it was June of 2011, the commission voted to proceed towards whatever, acquisition, land acquisition, funding, whatever for Pellissippi Parkway. They had a resolution that was prepared. It was Ed Mitchell's first term, and he asked the commission to write a resolution and send it to Nashville, to TDOT, and let them know that they wanted to push this. And the first item on that resolution, it says, whereas this interstate, or I don't know how it's referred to in the particular resolution, but this interstate or this highway is needed for Blount County for residential and economic growth. That was the very first whereas. And I'm pretty sure there's one of the commissioners in the audience that was on that commission, and one of them sitting up here on the horseshoe. And here we are, 15 years later, no closer to it than we were then, and we're still saying, hey, we still want this. Hey, we'll give you $5 million to get started. How? This is exactly why this dumb old country boy got involved in this stuff. Because you're telling me that it takes a lawyer and college degrees to come up with this? It's not hard. It's common sense. And it's obvious, you know, I hear people up here say all the time, well, that's just a very small portion of people that's coming telling you their opinion. And it's usually the same ones, close to it. I see some new faces every once in a while. But here's what I don't see. People lined up out the door telling you why they do want it. Amen. And you got,
Order, please.
you know, I've not been engaging, but I've been watching social media this week. And several of the commissioners have posted things, and several of the incoming commissioners have posted things, and I've watched. And I've took note of what people were saying. And it's funny to me. We have 2 state representatives and a state senator, and I said this last week, but I think I got off on a pig trail and forgot to come back around and tell you what I thought about it. But where are they? Because they're the ones down in there in Nashville trying to get TDOT to get started on this. They're not in here. They're not in here. But that's the very people that have been down there drumming this up for the people up here that want it. It's a dead-end road, a highway to nowhere. They've been doing it for 50 years. Still ain't done. Now they're wanting money to do it faster. And I just don't, I mean, you know, we read that, you know, we got a thing here about Morganton Road today. Came in our email, and then it's laying up here. And, you know, everybody's, you know, we caught on back in, I think it was January or February, the president of Citizens Against Pellissippi Parkway Extension, he just happened up here at the end of our meeting, and he let everybody on this commission know, or the ones that probably wasn't for it, ones that are for it or don't care one way or the other, they probably knew about it, but anybody in opposition, nobody knew about it. But they've been working this for the last year, actively. Several of our CEOs in this county. And this guy comes up here and tells this legislative representative body that are supposed to represent the citizens, he informs us of what they're doing, what they've been doing. It's pitiful. You know, that road, I saw somebody put on there this week, they said this is going to alleviate traffic. Yeah. For who? And then the sponsors, one doesn't even live on that end of the county, and the other one, I mean, he's got some traffic in front of his house, but if we hadn't been building houses like it was going out of style and recruiting people from all over the country to move here, we wouldn't have that problem. And if we think for 1 second that this thing getting built is not going to bring more, I mean, we might as well be making Sevierville Road topside road.
Keep order, please.
It's not rocket science, and okay, let's say it takes 10 years to build it and 5 more years to get topside road up and going. I mean, I'm probably old, but I mean, I live up there in that area of the county, and there's 2 places up there that I've always loved, and that's Walland and Townsend. Don't live there, don't have any vacation property up there. I'd like to have some riverfront property, but good luck with that. I know they've already got the Walmart going, and they're just anticipating that this thing's going to dump right out there beside it in the next 5 to 10 years, but I'm just going to tell you right now, if you do that, you're building Highway 66 from I-40 to Sevierville. That's what you're building. And it may not have on-bearing and off-bearing points on it like that does, but you're building a fast track to make that place explode, and it's over. It's over in Blount County. If you build this and you fund this, you're changing the face of Blount County for the rest of this. It's over. You're screwing it.
Come to order. I see no further lights. Are the commissioners ready for the Commissioner Davis? You're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Chairman Anderson. So, you know, since TDOT's not here and the TPO's not here, but every bit of the partnership's here, it's sure thing that this is an economic and a tourism project. It's not a TDOT project. It's not really about Pellissippi. It's about the land acquisition for the Pellissippi. And it don't sit well with me that we're using our taxpayers' dollars to buy other taxpayers out of their property. It just doesn't make sense to me. But what, no, listen, let me talk.
Listen, every time y'all clap, it's eating into her time, and I want to hear what she has to say. Commissioner Davis.
So we're really just buying a position of priority for this project right now because statewide, I travel constantly, okay? This isn't going to help our state traffic at all. It's going to cause our commercial property increase, and also, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me unless you're wanting to make us Little Pigeon Forge. I'm all about doing, you know, elevating the way we do tourism, but not taking over our land to do it. And it just doesn't make sense. So the TPO committee goes and negotiates, but the commission doesn't know there's negotiations going on. Then they come back to us wanting money. So it's like a 16-year-old going to the car lot wanting to buy a Lamborghini, but then coming back to the parents wanting the money for it. So, I mean, you've got to help me make sense of this. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got commissioners, you're for the constituents, or you got commissioners, it's for what Blount County will look like in 2050 with a partnership. And so I'm sticking with the constituents again, and I'm voting no to this. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Commissioner. Listen, I allow it during public comment because that's public comment, but please let us conduct the business. Any other speakers? Commissioner Carver, you recognized for the first time.
So I've got some questions with the letter from the attorney, the county attorney. And I know that you all, Brian, and you all were in that meeting, so if I could get some explanation. So one thing I see here is TDOT representatives again confirmed that this project on TDOT's 10-year project, and as such, the state, federal funds earmarked for this project are ready to be put in place and approved. And then when I look on the other side, TDOT explained that the deadline is August the 15th, which is the date that TDOT must confirm and accept the federal funding for this project and from the federal government. If that is not done, this project will be removed from the 10-year plan and the funding would be dispersed elsewhere. Can you explain me some of that, please?
Mr. Dolan?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, I'll do my best. In that meeting, what they described was they have a very long planning process because they're using federal funds, they're using state funds, and then in many of these current projects that are coming up, they're using local funds, and they're using what is the statewide partnership program is what that is called. They started it in 2023, and they did almost $1 billion worth of projects in 2024 that had local match involved. So they've been consistently doing this for the last 3. This would be now the 4th year that they've rolled out this plan because they're trying to partner with local governments to get road projects done. What they described is because of the timing of the federal funds and how the federal funds, they schedule out many years in advance. And so they described to us that they were able to put the Pellissippi on the 10-year plan because they have earmarked, they don't have the cash in hand, but they have earmarked their federal funds and their state funds because they do very long-range planning for the actual construction. The participation from local government is to accelerate the right-of-way to contain the cost of what it would cost in 4 years from now.
Thank you.
And you asked about the August 15th date. That is a federal date. Because they're using federal funds to participate and pay for some of this right-of-way, they have to make a commitment to their federal partners that they are going to use these funds or not, and that's the August 15th date.
Thank you.
Commissioner Carver, go ahead.
I've really prayed on this. I promise you I've prayed on this. I've tried to listen to both sides of it. I have to look towards 50 years in the future. The growth of our community, what of our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, the traffic, the people that are moving here, how are we going to compensate for that? So I'm thinking, what is going to be the traffic jams and the problem that we're going to have with the infrastructure if we don't look at this and move forward? And if anyone wants to explain on that, they're more than welcome to. But I do have to say, I'm looking 50 years in the future. And I was always taught that. If you're doing a plan and it's growth, you want to see what it's going to be 50 years from now. What's the population going to be? And there's people moving here from everywhere. And we need to be able to take that infrastructure and move to where traffic can get around. And I think this is one of the answers. But thank you. And I know some of you all agree with me or disagree.
Thank you, Commissioner. Deputies, the next time you witness someone speaking out from the crowd, you are instructed to escort them out of the room. Commissioner King, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Yeah, I'd like to ask the mayor and the mayor-elect their opinion on the Pellissippi going forward. What's your all's opinion on it?
Well, as Commissioner Michaels alluded to earlier, in 2009, when I first ran, I ran with support of the Pellissippi Parkway. I ran in 2009. I was elected in 2010. Every year that I've ran, there's never been any question that I support the Pellissippi Parkway extension. That's what I support that. Now, would I like to go back to, it affects me. I live pretty close to the track where that's going through. As a matter of fact, some of the people that are talking about losing their farms their farms were bought from my family in the 1800s. My family's been in that area that long. I'd love to go back and say, no, we don't need that. It's not going to happen. But when I was running in 2009, that was one of the number one things the people in the area out there were giving me, were talking to me about. You've got to do something about, we need this parkway. The traffic coming from 321 over to Old Knoxville Highway is jamming up Tuckaleechee, it's jamming up Coulter, it's jamming up Davis Ford, it's jamming up Hitch Road, Peppermint. And as bad as it was then, it's worse now. On what we're seeing in the jams that are and wrecks, and look at the accidents, and you pull the accidents that you're having in that whole corridor right there, because of the traffic, because of the people trying to cut through and come across there. I look back at this, and I want to say this. I saw this. I spent my time at the Maryville Fire Department, and I was there in the early 80s, when they decided to take Morganton Road and turn it into 321 Lamar Alexander Parkway and 4-lane Morganton Road all the way through downtown Maryville, right down through here, and connect and do the 4 lanes out to the Wallen Highway. And I was at those city council meetings when there was 300 people marching with signs saying, "You're going to destroy Maryville. You will destroy Blount County, you will destroy this whole community if you build this 4-lane. And as many people as are going to be affected by Pellissippi, if you go to the bypass and look at the homes that we took, that we trained in, we actually, as TDOT bought them, we tore them down, burned them, did a lot of training in them. That whole area, that corridor down through there, took a lot of homes and a lot of people's property. You go down here behind here next to the church, there was a whole subdivision of what we called Rock City down there. There was a whole subdivision down in that area that we took all the way up, all the way out. Took all of the houses that were between the college and High Street here, all of that. It was a huge corridor, and then it went on out and connected there. And the people were absolutely adamantly against it, just like these are, and rightfully so. And they thought that it was going to destroy Maryville, but they went ahead and built it, even though they had to have. I will say this, and we haven't had that yet. Well, although I guess the police officers are here. I remember that Skeeter Shields, the mayor, and Gary Hensley having to have escorts to walk them in because the people were so adamantly mad about building this 4-lane. But can you imagine what we would have in Blount County and Maryville now if this 4-lane did not connect to the bypass and come through town? Because before that, there was no road here. To come through town, you came down Broadway, came over and hit Washington and turned up. I mean, if that was the only way to get from one side of town to the other to make the traffic work, can you imagine what we would be facing today? And I'm going to go back to 2016 when we were talking about Pellissippi. And I went, and at that time, it was Bill Dunlap, and Bill Dunlap was the highway superintendent, and I said, Bill, tell me, how much will it cost us to upgrade the roads from 321 over to Old Knoxville Highway, to get those roads where they're safe, to take, you know, and I know you're going to take a lot of people's property, because a lot of those houses are right on the road. And he said, his estimate, he came back to me and said, anywhere from $300 to $350 million. That was in 2016. If we start talking about going back to what Commissioner Carver said, what's it going to cost us when all of a sudden we realize, well, we messed up, we didn't build the parkway, but now we're going to have to upgrade these roads? You're talking you could be talking $600 or $700 million, and that's no TDOT money. That's our money to get those, because those people out in that area are inundated with traffic. The traffic is absolutely bumper to bumper coming down through there. And so, like I said, do I wish we could go back and all of this never have to happen? Sure. But in reality, it does have to happen, because in the next 50 years, if it doesn't, it's just not, it's going to be not conducive to even be able to make your car go from the Old Knoxville Highway to 321, because the traffic's going to be so heavy. And I pulled up a resolution from 1997 from the county commission. And they said, and this was what their resolution said, due to the rapid growth that we're seeing in Blount County, we want three things to happen. One was the Alcoa bypass, the Alcoa Highway bypass. The other was Pellissippi Parkway, and y'all are going to love this one. The other one was to hook a loop from Topside Road, goes all the way around to William Blount, from William Blount over to Blockhouse, and from Blockhouse over and connect at Morningstar where Pellissippi comes out. That was what they were asking TDOT to do in 1997. So I mean, that gives you an idea. You think the Pellissippi Parkway is going to take people's property? Can you imagine a loop that goes around the whole county? And that's what the commission was asking TDOT to do.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner King, you still have the floor.
I was wanting to get your opinion on on the parkway, since you're the incoming mayor.
I'm going to stay neutral during this debate because it's going to get heated. Since I'm chairing this meeting, and I have to remain impartial for this, but I'll have a statement out as soon as the vote's over. Commissioner, you still have the floor. Commissioner Michaels, you recognize for the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we've spent the majority of the last 10 minutes listening to widening 321 from Lenore City to the mountains. It makes sense to me with people coming in here, and I mean, that's the kind of infrastructure upgrades we need to be doing. We need to be acquiring, and I know that this is not favorable, but we need to be acquiring property on Sevierville Road. We need to be making it look more like John Sevier. We need to have turning lanes, because that's where we are not keeping up. It's where we're not keeping up. Keeping our current infrastructure upgraded to facilitate the growth. I guarantee you, 1997, I know, I was here. 1997 looked a whole lot different than 2026 does. 2026 looks a whole lot different than 2019 did. That highway is for economic growth. It always has been, and it always will be. And there's a couple parties up there. There's about five people right off the top of my head that they're going to, they're going to benefit from it in Townsend. And there's a pretty large corporation up there that's going to benefit from it right in Wallen. They won't have to drive their limo through town with the red lights getting the celebrities up there. They can just hit Pellissippi and be there. And I'm telling you folks, this is ridiculous. 30 years. And now, we're still going to shove it down your throat, but we're going to take your money and your land. I live over there. I get stuck in traffic on Sam Houston. I get stuck in traffic on Knoxville Highway. It's because we have not updated those roads is why it's like that. Not because we need a parkway from the end of what we got to nowhere. Not because when we do this, it's going to absolutely destroy Wallen and Townsend, and if you don't think it will, just hide and watch and vote for it, and I promise you. You talk about 50 years from now, there won't be a peaceful side of the Smokies in 20 years, 10 years, if you put this parkway in there. That parkway ain't going to do squat unless you're going to go up there and develop half a side of Chilhowie Mountain and Ella Joy and Byers Farm get sold off into subdivisions and, you know, whatever. I mean, if that's what we want to do, if that's the route we want to go, (2009 to 2026), that's 15 years. 10 to 26. $16 years, 4 terms. Been fighting for it the whole time and still don't have it. And one last go round, you got a month left. I don't think it's any big secret we hadn't really got along. I care about you.
Commissioner, please keep it germane and address the chair.
But this is ridiculous. And to keep, it's just an insult and a slap in the face. Put it on a referendum. Give it to the people to vote for. If you really want to do the right thing, I'll shut up. Put it on a referendum. Won't do it because you won't get it. I hope this next commission doesn't let business be done the way it's been done the whole 8 years I've been on this commission and a long time before that. You're going to destroy this county with this road. I'm done.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner French for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to speak tonight, but after hearing some of the arguments, I can't predict the future like some of you people can. I'm sorry, I wish I had that crystal ball. I can't tell you what's going to happen if we don't build it or if we do build it. Townsend's going to go to pot from what I hear. I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is I've been in where I live for 50 years. When I came out of the service in 1976, I live in the same spot that I live now. That's 50 years. When I first moved there, and I came out of my driveway, I didn't even have to stop. I could pull right out, go out down the road. No cars, none. 25 years later, yes. When I came to the end of the driveway, yeah, I had to stop. There were probably, 6, 8 cars, maybe 10 cars. I could sit there and count them going both ways. Now, I can count 25 to 30 cars before I can get out of my driveway. That's in the morning or in the evening. And you know where that traffic's coming from or going to? They're coming from Maryville to go to Knoxville. And that little Burnett Station Road I live on is a shortcut from 411 to Chapman Highway. And it's both ways. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, the Pellissippi Parkway is going to cut that out. That's going to cut some of that traffic down because they're coming. You can shake your head no. They're coming from Maryville to go to Knoxville, and they're using Burnett Station Road as a shortcut. Guarantee you. The same thing coming from John Spear Highway. They're using it as a shortcut to get over on this end of the town. I've seen it. 50 years I've lived there. You can people shake your head, come over there. Come over there and help me get out. Direct traffic for me. I guarantee you. I've got grandkids, like Commissioner Carver said. I've got grandkids. I don't want them going down Chapman Highway or have to go through Maryville to go west. Guess what that road's going to do? For me, it's going to protect my grandchildren. Chapman Highway is one of the most notorious highways in our area for accidents. So I may be a little selfish, yeah, might be. But I'm looking also at 50 years down the road. If what's happened in the last 50 years happens the next 50 years, we're going to need 3 traffic lights on Burnett Station Road, I guarantee you. So, personally, it's a boon for me and the people that live over there where I live. I'm done.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Joplin for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am proud to announce that unlike Commissioner French, I can indeed predict the future. And unfortunately, I can pretty much tell you, well, number one, that I'm voting no for the Pellissippi. But I can also predict the future that it's going to pass. And the reason is because almost every commissioner up here in this horseshoe represents constituents that touch the congestion that downtown Maryville and Alcoa are. It's a mess. And almost everyone up here has constituents that are really having a hard time with that. Obviously, you've heard from a lot of them talking about it. I am fortunate enough to live on the peaceful side of the Smokies. We don't have industry. We have tourism industry, and that would be, you know, I have a business. We have a couple of rental cabins and horseback riding stable. Usually when I show up to these commission meetings, I have horse manure on my boots. You know, I would like Townsend to stay that way. We don't have problems with traffic out there. My reason for voting no is because I don't think that the $5 million that they're asking for should be coming from my constituents that don't have a traffic problem. Okay? But I do encourage you, don't hate these people up here for representing their constituents that do have traffic problems. It is a real thing, and you know, I don't blame them that Maryville and Alcoa have gone to pot, but I can tell you that I sure as hell hope that Townsend and Wallen don't do that. District 8 is where everyone wishes they did live. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Akerd for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've heard a lot of people on both sides of this issue for 30 years. And the reason why I ran for commission was because my late mom brought it to my attention that I could help. And she was 100% for the completion of Pellissippi Parkway before the part that's there now was there, because she was from Townsend and liked the idea of being able to take a straight shot to get to Townsend to see where she grew up, see her parents. And I feel very strongly that I owe it to my mom to vote for this. And Mr. McNeil and all the bashers can just bash away, but I'm doing what I think's right, and that's the way it is. So thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no more lights, we are voting on resolution number 2607002. If you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2607002, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 14 yes votes and 7 no votes.
14 yes, 7 no. The motion passes, and resolution number 2607002 is adopted. Madam Clerk, please read the next item.
Resolution number 267-003, budget increase various departments, $2,154,682.10. Reappropriate funds from prior year to support ongoing projects. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee 4-0.
Any objection to taking a 3-minute recess?
Yes, sir. I think that's appropriate.
There's an objection. All right. Let's just keep going. I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2607003 from Commissioner French, second from Commissioner Carver. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2607003, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 20 yes votes.
20 yes votes, motion carries, and resolution number 2607003 is adopted.
Resolution number 267-004, budget increase central services, $465,375. Appropriate federal opioid funds to fund the substance use residential treatment facility in Blount County. No matching funds are required. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee 4-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2607004 from Commissioner Akert, second from Commissioner Giles. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2607004, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
21 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2607004 is adopted.
Resolution number 267-005, budget adjustment, county maintenance, $263,332. Adjust appropriation to recognize revenues and expenses related to the county maintenance for the Blount County Library. referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee 4-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2607005 from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Akerd. Commissioners, I have a note that this needs to be amended, or the documents were inconsistent, so the prior, is the correct number 262? Mr. Baldwin, I've got, the note says the corrected dollar amount was $262,332, but all the documents showed $263,332. Do we have clarification on that?
Commissioner, it's the number, it's the 263,332.
Okay, I don't know what the so if there's no objection, we'll consider this 263,332. Any objection? All right, so ordered. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2607005, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
21 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2607005 is adopted.
Resolution number 2670006, budget increase library, $27,800. Appropriate library fund balance for repairs to correct plumbing issues in the learning lab. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee 4-0.
Have a motion to adopt resolution number 2607006 from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Akerd. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2607006, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
21 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2607006 is adopted.
Resolution number 2670013, a resolution to add employees to government crime insurance policy in lieu of statutory bonds.
Chair will stand for a motion to adopt resolution number 2607013. I have a motion from Commissioner Wells, second from Commissioner French. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2607013, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
21 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2607013 is adopted. Item H, announcements and statements. The Blount 250 Committee will meet on Tuesday, July 21st at 5 p.m. It says the meeting has been canceled. Canceled?
Canceled.
All right. The Blount 250 Committee meeting for Tuesday, July 21st at 5 p.m. has been canceled. The Human Resources Committee will meet on Tuesday, July 21st at 5 p.m. in room 430 of the Blount County Courthouse. The Insurance Committee will meet on Tuesday, July 21st at 5:30 p.m. in room 430 of the Blount County Courthouse. The Planning Commission will meet on Thursday, July 23rd at 5:30 p.m. in room 430 of the Blount County Courthouse. The Blount 250 Committee will meet on Tuesday, July 28th at 5 p.m. The meeting on Tuesday, July 28th at 5 p.m. has been canceled. A reminder that Budget Workshop and Board of Commissioners meetings will be held on Tuesdays for the month of August. So please update your calendars, Commissioners. Drafted resolutions for agenda items are due by 12 p.m. noon Tuesday, August 4th. So that's 2 days before the usual deadline. The Public Service Committee will meet on Tuesday, August 4th at 11 a.m. at the Blount County Operations Center. The Blount 250 Committee will meet on Tuesday, August 4th at 5 p.m. in room 430 at the Blount County Courthouse. The Board of Zoning Appeals will meet Thursday, August 6th at 6 p.m. in room 430 of the Blount County Courthouse. The Blount 250 Committee meeting for Tuesday, August 11th at 5 p.m. has been canceled. The Budget Committee will meet Tuesday, August 11th at 5 p.m., followed by the Workshop Committee at 6 p.m. in room 430 of the Blount County Courthouse. Are there any further announcements or statements? Commissioner French, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to publicly thank members of this board and the members of the administration and those that have reached out to me with their expressions of sympathy in the passing of my mother. She was 98 years young. She lacked 2 months of reaching 99. But my family and I thank you for your thoughts and your prayers, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further announcements or statements? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item I, public input on items not on the agenda. I have several cards. Speakers, do not please address any item that was on the agenda. The time for that was at the beginning of the meeting, so I will rule it out of order. Same rules apply, 3 minutes. Please address the chair or the commission as a whole. Please tell us your name and the district in which you live, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Kyle Skeen, you are first, and then we'll have Mr. Gribble back, if he's present.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Kyle Skeen, District 5. I'm here to speak on the flock ALPR cameras all over our county. I'm a 20-year veteran of the United States Navy. I worked in military intelligence and I hold a bachelor's degree in intelligence and cyber. I'm here to ask for one thing plainly. Remove the flock ALPR cameras, the license plate surveillance from Blount County, and build nothing to replace it. These are not ordinary security cameras. They are part of a corporate surveillance system operated by a venture capital-backed private company. They scan every license plate, record where your vehicle was and when, and store that information in a searchable database shared far beyond this county. Law-abiding residents are tracked driving to church, to school, and to the doctor. Even those attending this meeting tonight can be cataloged and correlated. No warrant, no suspicion, no way to opt out. Are we citizens or suspects? Cities across America are walking away from flock because of civil liberty concerns, wrongful investigations caused by false alerts, growing concerns over taxpayer dollars being spent on private surveillance companies, and the prospect of costly litigation. People are struggling, yet hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer dollars are being spent on subscription-based surveillance systems mounted on publicly funded infrastructure that tracks innocent citizens. Whether people support flock or oppose it, everyone I have spoken with has been surprised to learn that taxpayer dollars are paying a private company to operate this surveillance system on public infrastructure. The public deserves to know who chose surveillance over responsible government and who chose to expose taxpayers to the cost of defending the systems in court. Nearly every plate these cameras scan belongs to someone suspected of no crime. The system's primary function is to collect data on innocent people. The Fourth Amendment was written to stop this exact kind of dragnet. Just weeks ago, in Chantry versus the United States, the Supreme Court held that obtaining a person's location history is a search because Americans have a reasonable expectation to the privacy of their record of movement. Plate data reveals where you go, who you see, and how you live. The government should not keep records of innocent people's movements. This system is also ripe for abuse, and that danger is not hypothetical. Just 20 miles away, a former Oak Ridge police officer pleaded guilty to 23 counts of official misconduct, 18 involving the misuse of the flock network operated in our county. Rules, access controls, and audits did not stop the abuse. They only documented it afterwards. Better rules are not enough. The only reliable protection is to remove the system. Take it down. Without privacy, there is no freedom. So I will leave you with this. Taxpayers did not vote for this dystopian private police surveillance network or a Fourth Amendment worn down to nothing. Remove these cameras and end the corporate mass surveillance system. Our constitutional rights are not for sale. Our constitutional rights are not for sale. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Skeen. Y'all can clap now. Mr. Gribble. I think Mr. Gribble probably had to leave. Travis Wilson.
Thank you guys for having me and let me speak. My name's Travis Wilson. I'm from District 2, and I'm probably not as eloquent of a speaker as the act that I'm following up, but it is on the same issue. The flock cameras that we have in Blount County, I think there's 43 of them, if I'm not mistaken, is absolutely ridiculous. It is 100% an indiscriminate dragnet that none of us signed up for, but our taxpayer dollars are going towards. Along the lines of that, we also have the possibility that that is going to be expanded to drones. And they're not cheap. You're looking at like, just for the subscription that we would be tied to alone, it would be about $300,000 for just the first year, and then it would up to $450,000 per year, and just a subscription for that alone. Now, I know that I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to tracking me whenever I've done nothing wrong. If I want to go to the store, that's fine, but I know in a lot of instances there's been a lot of misuse nationwide of this system. And I come from a background where I build and fly FPV drones. And so I know, it's not that I'm anti-technology, I know this technology in and out, from the hardware to the camera systems and everything. And let me tell you, these drones that may come into, you know, we may be talking about later on, they weigh about 5 pounds. So flying at 60 miles an hour, if it strikes a bird, it's going to be a rotating, spinning object that weighs 5 pounds flying out of the sky onto what? Our homes, a family member. You know, you take one of those to the head and it'll be your last headache. As far as the cameras go, the misuse of these cameras are rampant. There's been police officers, there's been police chiefs that have been charged and have went to jail because they're misusing this. I don't think that it's a good idea. I've spoke to a lot of people in the community and they're fed up with it. And it just seems like there's more and more coming in. And I urge you guys to really think about the community and how they feel about it, because if you really talk to people, you'll realize really quickly that this is not something that any of us want or need, for that matter. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Next, we have Heather Pagan.
Heather Pagan, District 2, and sorry I picked July because it's the month of freedom, so I just really picked the wrong meeting to do the flock speech at, but thank you for your time and your commitment to the people of Blount County. I'm here to talk about the issue of AI-powered mass surveillance cameras, specifically flock, which is in our county. I'm asking for it to be placed on a future agenda for open discussion and voting. It is my understanding that our sheriff has 100% control over the ones that we have installed in the county. While Flock aggressively markets itself as a crime-fighting tool, independent research raises serious questions about its effectiveness and broader impacts. Research done by or funded by a company who profits from the outcomes is not reliable. Flock does not prevent crime, it merely digitizes the work of an officer. Our officers here are dedicated and capable. They successfully locate suspect vehicles through BOLOs and traditional policing all the time. The only difference now is that Flock is recording all of us all the time, building searchable databases that can stalk us without warrants. These cameras are more than license plate readers. The ones that we have here catch roof racks, bike racks, bumper stickers, dents in your vehicle, and your license plate. Flock also has cameras called Ravens that capture audio and Condors that capture faces. Luckily, we don't have any of those yet. Our Constitution states that we have the right to be secure in our persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures without probable cause. Yet here we're having this company Flock has all their perpetual globe, so really could be I do the most is great. Please move engineering renewal on flockies that yes, I'm here. Prohibit AI mass surveillance cameras that monitor public space and feed data into external networks. I feel like that's the key When we have private cameras, it's one thing, but when we're feeding into this global network, that's another thing. Ban partnerships that expand signal tracing or data sharing with these systems. And any headway you can make to restrict mass AI surveillance in our country, in our county, would be appreciated. I would hate for us to become like China or even like Knoxville, who just bought 612 more cameras, flock cameras. I want my kids' to be as free as I used to be.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your time has expired. Is Mr. Robinson still here? Tom Robinson? All right, that's all the cards we have. Anyone who wishes to speak to items not on the agenda at this time, please raise your hand. Yes, sir. Please come forward.
Evening. Not prepared at all for this. Just kind of wanted to come and watch everything. My name is Ian Averts. I believe I belong to District 8. I've never needed to know that information before tonight. I also want to speak on the flock camera issue. I do not support them in the slightest. I was a Navy vet for 9.5 years before I was medically retired. One issue I can see with them is the ability to sorry, not a good public speaker. I chose submarines, not a lot of people. But with that being said, like, I had a security clearance. I was a Navy nuclear machinist mate for that 9.5 years. And the ability for somebody to gain access to the movements of people like myself when I was in, or people that work at Oak Ridge, and track them and harass them if they were to get access to this information, whether through abusing legal channels or the numerous security vulnerabilities that I've seen brought up online of Flock, people being able to gain access to live feeds from these cameras. It is terrifying. And as mentioned, if things such as geofencing have been ruled to require a warrant, being able to track where I go, if I go to the store, I should be able to do that without anybody here or anybody in the police department knowing that I went to the store if they feel like looking it up on a database. That is beyond unacceptable. So that's basically all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Brian Thompson, District 3. This fine gentleman made me aware of why he was coming tonight to speak out in the hallway before this began. And here, I want to second every comment made on the flock cameras. They are ripe for abuse. A system that depends entirely on the character of those holding it is just turnkey authoritarianism. Imagine your worst enemy having access to this. Eventually, if this is in place, such a person will have access to it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it will happen. And they could use it against you. And that is completely at odds with our way of life in this country. I would second the fine lady's recommendation and plea that you do everything within your power to prevent any further use of this in our county. Those who would sacrifice liberty for security will have neither. And that is absolutely at the heart of these mass surveillance technologies. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else who wishes to speak to items not on the agenda, please raise your hand high at this time. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Shannon Kirkland, and I live in District 6. I moved from District 7. So I just want to thank you all. I've been coming to commission meetings for a while now, and I've learned a lot about this process, more than I did in 7th grade social studies, I guess. But one thing I've noticed, I've never been more entertained, is that people get up and speak on items on the agenda, get 3 minutes, commissioners, they don't respond to you, you don't interact with them, and then go about and you pass things that, 20 people could get up here and say how they're against something and it still gets passed. And I'm in District 6, so I just have to worry about my commissioners, but I don't know about the rest of you that just do things that your constituents don't want, that, that the citizens in your district, you do things that they don't want. And I've seen this go on for months now. And so I think that's really interesting, because I've heard a lot of conversation here tonight, and the truth is, and I'm also against the flock cameras, and I'm not a criminal, but the truth is, you just got a 200% raise. I'm not saying you didn't deserve a raise. I'm not saying you don't work for it. But when you don't do the job that you're supposed to do, then no, you don't deserve it. Maybe it should be pay on performance from your district. Maybe it should be that. When are you going to speak for the citizens of your district? So, I just think that it's almost a circus sometimes here. I came to the zoning meeting that night. It was ridiculous, the way business was carried on. But you know what? You don't work for the mayor. You don't work for Blount Partnership. You don't work for the chamber. You don't work for the sheriff's office. You don't work for the school system. What you do is you serve the citizens in your district. That's what you're supposed to do. And when the citizens of this county get tired of this circus going on up here, when they stop voting for their friends and stop voting for who East Tennessee Conservatives says to vote for, and stop voting for Blount Lifestyle, who they recommend you vote for, when they start coming to commission meetings and find out what goes on here, and they vote because they want to vote for who represents them, a lot of this will change. But until that happens, here we are.
Expired. Anyone else on items not on the agenda? Seeing no further hands, stand for motion to adjourn. That